let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safeway Liquid Beer podcast.
Be right again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
It's the 6 o'clock check-in. Come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello. It's that static AM radio. It's the Cool Ben Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and log in with some sirloin bites.
.605, you're tuned into the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming on the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube.
That guy shows up.
What do you think?
In your purge house and says, send the stranger out. You're sending the stranger out. Dumbest movie premise ever. That
movie. We're a week away, baby. What do you think? Trevor Lawrence? Hey? No?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Facsimile? Huh?
Yeah. You're getting hit by a car, though, wearing that thing, right?
It's real tight on the eyes.
Your peripheral is like, you're not seeing that thing coming from the side.
Happy Halloween to those that celebrate.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's me.
It's you all along.
It's me all along. Look, we're trying our best here. We got the decorations up, a mask. That's fine. I think the EST hangout later today will be a bit more festive. As I'm hearing, I guess.
Yeah.
Jasmine's got big plans and
perfect.
Yeah, so
great, fantastic.
Trev had big plans. Those failed. Dusty had big plans too, and he's obviously not. Wait a minute. Are you?
Yeah.
Dustin all along. You've been here all week. What a ruse. What a costume.
No, he's still sick.
Yeah, Dustin Nielsen update. Lieutenant Eric Will Fraser, once again, and YouTube Trev behind the monitors, keeping it locked. Dustin Nielsen tried for the comeback. And we said yesterday that, week 9 in the NFL, Oilers back in action, the Elks named the president.
I honestly was like, he's not missing
a World Series. Everything's going on here.
He missed the entire World Series. How about that?
We're not calling him Mr. October anytime soon.
I was here on Friday.
Yeah, you're right.
He was a no-show on Monday, and I've been here ever since. He missed an entire World Series. Wow.
That's going to call for a meeting in Old Iwanix office, I think. Hey, I mean,
you know what? Time to add a little honey in the tea, man. Really work on that.
World Series is one of our big money makers here. Yeah. Like it's a big time for us as a station to kind of,
the whole youth builds to this.
What do you call them? Sweeps, right? Yeah. Like this is our
sweeps. That's right.
All joking aside, we wish him well. Again, he texted me yesterday and said he thought that he was out of the woods, and it just kind of popped back. So, again, do your PSA. I mean, let's have it.
Classic Dustin Nielsen fashion. 4 years after, he is going to walk in here on Monday and be like, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but this COVID virus it's pretty serious. That's what he's going to do to me, because I'm also in here on Monday with him, because you're off gallivanting somewhere, I think.
Yeah, I'll be resting.
Yeah, that's right. And so...
Well, that's exciting.
That will be... I guarantee that's how he's going to greet me. He's going to be like, I don't know if you've heard about this COVID virus, but
it'll get you.
It'll get you. What a doozy, he'll say.
The Nielsen Show presented as always by Southfort Chevrolet. This is it. This is the last day for the employee pricing.
Yeah.
Save up to $15,000 on select models. www.southfortchev.com. Drive a little, save a lot, as well as $1,000 credit on your trade-in vehicle. Any trade-in vehicle, they'll beat the price. It's easy like that.
I literally sat across from him the day he found out that Cuba was a communist country.
The look on his face, jaw floor.
The look on his face that we were going to a communist country, and he couldn't handle the revelation of it. So I 100% predict that he will come in surprised that this highly infectious disease got him.
Smith TM14 says, "Oh, here we go." I assume that's on your flu PSA again. He's spending Halloween with suits, Jimmy Onishi says. Some people thinking that he's spending the next 11.25 hours in the makeup chair, getting ready for the CFL divisional semifinals this weekend as well.
It's a good-looking man.
Kind of, but a knock on his looks there if it needs that much time in the makeup chair. You know what I'm saying? Like they need to really...
Yeah, I think he just has a slow makeup artist. That's all.
The Georgia Satellite says more like
It's a
Mr.
lot of
Slacker.
real estate.
Not Mr. October, Mr. Slacker. And Rob from the Grove says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Rob. And once again, happy Halloween to everybody out there. Lots to get to today. He's missing. We've talked about this season. It's either spring or fall. And you get that kind of 2-3 week window where everything's overlapping and coming together and really.
The sports equinox.
Oh, yes, the equinox. And it's all going off right now, and he's missing it all. But we'll have a lot to get to. The Elks, the Oilers back in action, week 9 in the NFL, the World Series. How about that, Judge, eh? Oh, baby.
Wow.
We will...
Wow.
We'll sink our teeth into that puppy. But I want to let you know as well, A&W, and we've been talking about it for the past couple of days, take advantage of this deal today. For Halloween, make A&W a trick-or-treat stop. Kids under 12 get an A&W Kids Pack today absolutely free. And it says here in the copy, that's right, absolutely free. Almost like it's too good to be true. You can choose from a chicken buddy burger, 2 chicken strips, a buddy burger or buddy burger with cheese, paired with fresh apple slices, made good granola bar, and the Dustin Nielsen Special, 2% milk. Don't miss this ghoulish giveaway. Offer valid at A&W shops today only. And the standalones, not in the mall or not for the delivery on the app as well. So pop into an A&W before you're going trick-or-treating tonight. Should be a good night weather-wise, and get a kids pack for free. Kids under 12.
I appreciate the clarification in the copy. I would have read that and went, that's got to be a typo.
It's got to be fake. Absolutely
that's gotta
free.
Be a typo. Let's double-check it. But the fact that they repeated it.
It's nice that they added in. Mm-hmm. It just goes to show how crazy of a deal. As they say here as well in the copy, a ghoulish giveaway.
Yeah. No, actually, that's a great start to trick-or-treating night.
Yeah. So, again, thanks for joining us again. Dusty will be off. We're doing the full week here, right? It's kind of, we're not going to kind of touch and go here. This is the week now. You'll be in today. You're in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Perfect. Another beer of the week for you as well tomorrow.
You know what? It's all coming up, Fraser.
The theory is working here with the slight poisoning.
Yeah, that's right.
You go over with that mask with the big nose, right? One of those medieval...
The plague
doctor.
outfit.
Yeah, knocking on the door or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, as mentioned, lots to get to. We'll get into it right now with the morning announcements. Do want to let you know, though, rest of the show, fired up coming around 6:20. Will's got a bit of a topic to our neighbors to the west that he'll get to. That hurts at 6:40. For James H. Brown Injury Lawyers. Luke Gazdic from Sportsnet will be by at 7 o'clock for Pro-Am Sports. Club of Canada Hotline of the Day. We do have the wheel for an anytime touchdown score on tonight's Thursday Nighter. Of course, you can join me for that at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. I Got Beef for Cory the Butcher and Acme Meats at 7:30 in the Fan Zone, rounding out hour 2 at 7:40. Kind of easy trivia. You got to get on the trivia.
Again?
3 questions too many as well. An orange and blue breakfast to get you set for Oilers and Preds. And Greg Wyshynski, who missed yesterday, will be by today at 8:30, all ahead of the wrap for William Hupp. But your morning announcements for 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's Best Rock. Had a chance to talk with old Scott McCord again this morning, recapping the World Series, setting up Oilers Preds tonight. But as mentioned, lots of stuff going on. Judge fumbling the ball. What did you say? 3E is kind of the story there. E3. 3E, E3.
E3.
Judge's bat
For the
comes
New York
alive,
Yankees,
but his
yeah.
glove falls asleep as the Dodgers take it in 5. The Edmonton Elks also making a hire. We have our man, the smoke billowing up from Commonwealth yesterday, sometime during the afternoon. They've chosen a president
The
and CEO.
conclave has the white smoke came out of
he has been named.
Yeah.
And Chris Morris, U of A Golden Bears, obviously former Edmonton Eskimo lineman. He has been hired as president and CEO. I know a few of our shows later today, I think, will be live from Commonwealth. More on that to come. But just quick thoughts on Chris Morris. Again, we were talking off air. You could have gone a lot of directions in this hire, I think, in terms of, much like the CFL with its commissioner, business, former player, how former, all those things. But Chris Morris coming somewhat out of left field in terms of the names already spoken.
absolutely out of left field. I don't think anyone, well, none of us would have put him on that list for president. If you were saying head coaching search, he would have been in that mix. He is a local sports football icon, football Alberta icon. Like, this is a man who understands the market. I think he understands football. But I'm going to give the the Elks credit on this, in that their first major hire under new ownership feels very much to me a culture hire more than anything else.
And was that needed? Is that top of your...
I think that's probably the most important thing,
Yeah.
is that this is a franchise that over the last 2 decades has fallen away from what many would consider to have been the class of the CFL as far as culture goes. That no matter who is in charge or who is behind center or what have it, there was an overall ethos and culture to how you showed up to work and how you showed up for the city and so on and so forth. And this feels very much like an owner who has identified that that's what they need to prioritize before they make any other decision. Before they figure anything else out, they need to kind of put their foot down or plant their flag in the culture that they want going forward. And it's pretty hard to fault the morals of a Chris Morris. That what is he going to bring to this franchise? It's going to start with a commitment to a culture from start to finish.
You're going to say excellence. You're
well, I don't even know.
I'm just, that's kind of the phrase that people kind of, that's your bar, right?
I wouldn't actually say the culture that he's going to bring in is excellence. The culture that I feel he's going to bring in is professionalism.
Sure.
Right? Like that everyone takes their job seriously. They take the fans seriously. They have respect for the dressing room and the facility, like everything about that. So hopefully this is the first of many good steps moving forward for this
and it
franchise.
seems it reeks in a good way of that. And 3-time Grey Cup champion, of course, as you mentioned, the local ties and all of this. And I know people are kind of pointing to his record or resume at the U of A and building up that Golden Bears program over the years that they were kind of mired in mediocrity. A great year last year, fell off again this year. But I don't think you can equate that to what this position asks of you and demands of you, really. And there are some similarities, but he's not he's not going out and recruiting. It's totally different now.
Well, yes and no.
Yes, there are similarities, but not on the grander scale.
That's where I go to the culture issue. When he took over that U of A football program, it was a mess. They were the laughingstock of CIS. No one took them seriously. And you can't say that about them anymore. They are a concern.
Record aside, but
heading into every recruiting season and everything else, they are taken seriously by their peers.
Yeah.
And I think that's hopefully what you can look forward to if you're an Elks fan, is that you can take the Elks seriously now, and more importantly, everyone else in the CFL will start taking them seriously again, because that hasn't been the case, and it hasn't been the case for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like the people at the top have been disappointments in as far as what's your number one job? Leadership. Have you shown any leadership? Nope. none of them showed.
Well,
much
again,
leadership.
people that have been hired from outside the market not really understanding what it is, albeit trying. I'm not saying these people didn't have the best intentions in mind, but not really getting what it is.
And this isn't to go after Rick LaLacheur. If Rick LaLacheur was 10 years younger, he'd still have the job.
Well, yeah, he came in too as a bit of a caretaker
That's
role.
right. He came in to
I'm talking about the
stabilize.
Queez and the American dude from before,
Yeah.
and it's fitting that I forget his name, but you know what I'm talking about here.
That's okay. He doesn't remember you either.
Well,
Yeah.
nor should he. It is interesting as well yesterday in some CFL news. Stan Peters making some coaching changes as well. Defensive coordinator Brent Monson being let go, as well as longtime special teams coordinator and assistant head coach Mark Killam, who does have ties to the U of A and the Golden Bears program. So if you're kind of connecting the dots here, perhaps this is maybe a return for him or something. I don't want to get too far down the line here, but
We'll see
interesting.
what happens. I think most Stamps fans and most fans of the CFL will say, that's interesting. The Stamps had a defensive coordinator. I did not notice.
No scalding hot takes today, but man, you're coming after that mid and or potholder. We shall see. And as mentioned too, World Series. I think we're all kind of delighting and gleefully prancing around today in the depression that Matthew Iwanek. I don't even know. He knew that's the thing. He sets himself up. They're done. Like he was setting himself up for this, so it's not a big deal.
This is why we all hate Matthew Iwanek. Is he's going to walk in today with a facade. Like, not only will he have his Halloween costume, but he'll have his walking his humanity costume that he puts on from time to time, and he'll be like, "No, I knew they didn't have a chance from the start. I could have told you this. I could have told you this before. It was never going to happen, and it never will happen until they do these three things." He'll already have a solution for what they need to do moving. There is no grieving.
Well, he didn't like Aaron Boone.
Iwanek.
He wanted them to lose to justify the removal of Aaron Boone from the throne, and now he's gotten his wish.
I hope so.
It only takes a World Series to get that wish. But Dave Jameson texted him, Chris Presson. That was the dude.
I'm glad Dave remembers.
He's right on it. Nice to see you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
God bless you. I love you. So congratulations to the Dodgers. Of course, Freddie Freeman, no surprise there, your MVP. Just a hell of a Game 5. And again, we were saying this might be the best World Series of all time when it started, the two storied franchises. It only lasts 5 games, but really enough theater to get you. You didn't need 7, right?
No.
Like this was what it was. Judge, the bats come alive, 5-0, but then the defensive play fails.
The most basic center fielding play you can make, and he flubs it to keep the inning alive. And then for me, the key play, however, was the Freddie Freeman, 5-1 at that point, bases loaded, and he fights off this inside pitch, sends it straight away center field, and there is 20 center fielders in Major League Baseball that would have made a play on that. And unfortunately, Aaron Judge is not that kind of a center fielder.
He ain't that guy.
He is not that guy.
Not that guy.
And he lets it go over his head. 2 more runs score. It just flew away. Like, what a completely different series if that doesn't happen and you're heading back to Los Angeles, now down 3-2.
Yeah. And they had Garrett Cole out. We were talking about it. I mean, that was a game set up for them, at least on the mound, to kind of and then you're up 5-0. Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he had technically 5 outs in that inning, in that 5th inning. But because of errors, it forced an extension into the.
I know
the E3 territory.
One ESPN reporter yesterday tracked down the Copa Bianco guy. Oh, this guy's a beauty. We're gonna have him on. And that's what was my biggest fear, is that if they do get back in this series and somehow pull it off, they'll build a statue of the guy.
Yep.
Now we can kind of 6 feet under. You're done. See you later.
Go back to New Jersey.
Connecticut.
Or Rhode Island.
What was the guy's name again?
Austin Copa Bianco.
Did you see the video
EJHL.
where Gronkowski is actually really good friends, or was really good friends with them in college? That was his DB. He did play for the hockey team.
The Gronkowskis?
Yeah.
That mild-mannered family? They were friends with such a ruffian?
Get out of here. This is my surprise face.
I don't want any of it.
I'm not surprised.
It's done. He shall never be named again.
Yes, he
or
will.
Brought
all the time.
Not on this damn show.
Yeah. If his name was Ed Smith, he'd never be mentioned again.
Well,
but
that's
come
just
on, his
it,
name's
yeah.
Austin Cope.
He's a beauty. He's a beauty.
Wyshynski nailed it when he was kind of like.
That's what's happening.
This is a name Letterman would have used for a month.
Yeah. But again, now he's going to be making more money than all of us combined. Not sure if Bangkok is on your map yet, but I am here. Maxelli Consulting. We'll put it on the map here. Good to see you. Good afternoon or evening or whatever the time would be there. Week 9 of the NFL tonight as well. Aaron Rodgers back in prime time as the Texans visit the Jets once again.
That's what he needs. Brighter lights.
What a fright it'll be tonight at the Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Join me there. World famous smoked brisket cheesesteak and your next chance at some NFL garb. And Oilers and Preds tonight. I can't believe we haven't gotten to this yet, but the McDavidless Oilers, we have a time frame now, 2 to 3 weeks. We were kind of saying maybe a month, maybe a week. This is like... It's not your 3 to 4.
3 to 5.
Or 3 to 5, yeah. 2 to 3. It's a handful of games here, but again, we will see. We'll continue to take the positive route with this and discuss about who or what could capitalize, who should and will step up, and those sorts of things. I mean, maybe it's good that it's in Nashville, and Leon Draisaitl traditionally performs pretty well down there.
Yeah, that is their town. That is their goaltender that they like going up against.
Yeah, right.
Week.
So maybe this is the springboard to get them going, sans McDavid, at least for the next 2 to 3 weeks. 6:20, we're going to get to Fired Up right now ahead of a sports update from YouTube. Trev, Fired Up as well. Gemco Fireplaces has been proudly serving Edmonton and area for 45 years. They are the authorized dealer for Napoleon Fireplaces. Whether it's gas or wood burning, look no further than Canadian-made Napoleon Fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need are available at Gemco, 9281 50th Street. Fired Up, we know Iwanik's going to be... Well, he's probably not fired up because he knew that the Yankees would lose. But you mentioned something off the air today, too, that's got you a little fired up. Not in the sports realm. This is a fatherly concern or fired up from you.
Listen, I pride myself on not involving myself in the world as much as I can.
Yes.
I like staying
very jealous of you.
To what is going on in the usual ills. But I just learned over the last month or so that citizens of the fine province of British Columbia are not considered like full citizens until they're 19.
You don't even exist. You're just off the...
Yeah, you're
nobody.
You're just a ward of your guardian or state.
A ward?
Yeah. It's driving me a little crazy because I've sent my oldest son off to university in British Columbia, and I keep having to sign documents on his behalf because they don't trust an 18-year-old who can be legally sued in this country to actually be able to take care of himself on basically any outing involving a bus or chairlift.
You have to go out physically to sign this stuff?
I'm at least able to do most of it
electronic. Well, it is 2024. You'd be...
Yeah. It would have been before this, the fact that his institution charges a 3% service fee for any credit card payment over the phone or online drives me crazy, especially when you're dealing in the thousands of dollars. It's not a cheap add-on that is, but I digress. The fact that my 18-year-old son, and not a young 18, like
he's
been
your
in charge
son for
of
crying
his
out loud,
own life for a good chunk of time.
Coached him up.
Has to keep asking his daddy to sign permission forms. It's embarrassing for both of us.
Daddy.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for both of us. It's It's
got you, shall we say, fired up?
Yeah. Well, actually, we were talking about it has me fired up against the 18-year-olds of British Columbia. Like, how has not one of you found your Eric Macramala and taken this thing into a court?
They need to unionize.
And basically said, come on. You can't have it both ways. You can't say that I'm an adult in these situations, but not in these. Like
the youth of today, man, they're
but you
a little
were saying Saskatchewan's
clipped.
the same.
It's 19. I don't know about the legal, but to buy like the booze and stuff.
No, listen. You want to?
I don't know if it's on that level.
But just like to be able to sign a release.
Yeah, that I don't know. I could be.
That
could
drives
be
me crazy.
Wavering there.
If you're an adult in the eyes of the law, you're an adult in the eyes of the law.
Fired Up, it's for Gemco Fireplaces and Napoleon Fireplaces. Check them out today. Trev, I think for us, you and me, we can kind of tag team this one. And Zacticum, the birthday boy, is in the Paris Jewelers inbox today. Paris Jewelers, lots of locations around the country. Check them out today. West Edmonton Mall as well. What are you guys dressed as? He asks. I'm a little fired up. I see a empty pop can sitting beside you. I walked into the studio today. The monitors were on, flickering.
There's a pigsty.
YouTubes were going off. Papers all around.
How many pens does one producer need?
Yeah,
I'm looking
pens,
at like 7 pens in
crap
the corner
laying
here.
all around.
He's got the pen caps that are chewed maybe by Dusty, so maybe that's why
they
Zach
share them.
got sick.
They share them.
Yeah, that's true.
In the Fraser household, like cell phones coming out, like all electronics is being confiscated until this is taken care of.
Again, we are fired up. If people are leaving, if you're leaving this studio, EST HQ, every day, you're the last one here, you're locking up shop, you lock the doors, whatever. Maybe put your cans away. Maybe stop leaving half-empty water bottles laying around casually at the office.
Right
we do have a
here.
recycling bin that I purchased for that very cause. The coffee pot stewing with day-old coffee, staining the inside of the pot. Grounds dumped into the water well. Filters just reeking and sitting there and stewing in its own juices. Clean up the mess if you're the last one. The worst thing is when you start at whatever time of day we get in here and you're still half asleep a zombie, I'd like to come into somewhat of a clean place. I understand coming in midday, you're already up. You've been doing things and such. It's easier to come in during the afternoon or into the evening. But when you're first one in the morning, it would be nice to kind of come into a somewhat tidied shop, shall we say.
You're saying pay it forward.
Both in the kitchen, yes, and in the studio, especially in the studio.
Pay it forward.
Open drinks. I mean, this stuff at the old place would be you'd get a licking, you'd get a spanking, you'd be engineering would be all over you.
Yeah, at least some sort of a dressing down would occur.
A public one, not even in the eye. It'd be an open door.
Yeah, and not ironically, we already know that Dave Jameson has been tuning in this morning. He would have. Well, first of all, there'd be a part of him that would actually be excited by the fact that he got to clean. Like he was fastidious. He was he stayed on top of that kind of stuff. But yeah, he would have sent out a memo at the very least. Maybe that's what you guys need to do.
Well, maybe we should be fired up at Ironic for not.
Where's the corporate wide memo?
Where's the sheriff? Who's wearing the badge in this town?
Who's in charge?
Who? That's got me fired up. It's got YouTube Trev fired up as well. Look, it's. I remember when I used to work produce too in the grocery store. I would close at night.
Yeah.
So the guy that would open the next day, I directly affected his mood the next day.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it goes. Throughout the day, people are coming in here, tag teaming, show ends. There's a flow during the day. But when you do leave and the place is static for 10 to 12 hours, you want it to be kind of.
You're walking up and down those aisles. You can face the soup cans if you see them out. You can pull stuff forward from the back. It's not too much to ask.
It shouldn't be too much to ask. Yeah. And again, I purchased the recycling bin to use for a reason. Zach. Yes, Trev, do anything to add to this? I know this is a joint fired up here. It's like you're the wood fireplace, I'm the gas burning one.
Yeah, it's just, he's the youngest one.
Don't make this about age.
By quite a bit.
Don't make this about age.
Okay, never mind.
That feels like
no comment.
That feels almost like you're letting him off the hook.
No, I'm not.
When you're saying
just the audacity. If I was the youngest one, I would never speak to the seniority people, the elders like this.
That's youth.
I'm elderly.
You are somewhat blind to your actions.
Zach says you guys can clean too. I don't know what that means.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Okay, I'll clean your pop can.
We will
that's
come back
here,
every
Zach.
day at 6 and
wow.
He said he is shook. LOL.
I'll clean the pens here,
That's
Zach.
laugh out loud. Listen, that's fired up. Zach, we love you, but get it together.
Zach. Yep.
Gemco Fireplaces, proudly serving Edmonton area for 45 years. Check them out today, 9281 50th Street. Let's get to a sports update here for Nisku Glass. YouTube Trev's got it. Everything you need to know from last night and setting up tonight. It's Lieutenant Eric. It's Will Fraser in for a sick Dustin Nielson and YouTube Trev. This is the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Last night in the majors, the Dodgers wrapped up their second World Series crown in the past 5 seasons, overcoming a 5-run deficit to top the Yankees 7-6, taking the series in 5 games. The Yankees finished with 3 errors on the night. And the NHL Devils blanked the Canucks 6-0. Warren Foegele notched his 4th of the season as the Kings double up the Golden Knights 6-3. Flames have now lost 5 of the 6 following a 5-1 defeat to Utah. Jets back in the win column with a 6-2 win over Detroit. Tampa 5-2 winners over the Avalanche. And for the Oilers, Noah Philp expected to make his NHL debut tonight, while Connor McDavid is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks of action with an ankle injury as the Oilers visit Nashville to battle the Predators. Tom Gazzola has your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game show starting at 5 o'clock here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Oilers Predators are one of 7 games around the NHL tonight. In the association, Raptors drop 2 1-4 as they fall on the road to Charlotte 138-133 to the Hornets. Raptors are back home to host the Lakers tomorrow night, and just 4 games around the NBA this evening. And to finish things off, Week 9 of the NFL kicks off tonight when the Texans visit the Jets. Join Lieutenant Eric at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where the world-famous smoked brisket cheesesteaks are on special, as well as your shot at some NFL merch from the Squareboard. The Sports Update is brought to you by Nisku Glass. If you're looking for replacement glass for your construction equipment or fleet vehicles, or a home or business owner looking to upgrade your space with high-efficiency windows and modern glass designs, Nisku Glass is here to help. From your home or business to your vehicle, they won't just meet your glass needs, they'll shatter them. Check out their Instagram or call them at 780-955-7989 and see what Nisku Glass can do for you.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
It's terrifying. It's upsetting. It's me on base.
Ow. It's digging into my eyeballs. 6:35, it's the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming on the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube.
Hurts the eyeballs. I'm going to make an effort, though. This is it is Halloween, and happy
up.
Halloween to those who celebrate. If you are on YouTube this morning, hit the like, hit the sub. Our pursuit of 10.5 thousand subscribers continues. And once again, hit the thumbs up. Doesn't cost you anything. Neither does the subscription. And we're not going to annoy you and leave a bunch of things in your mailbox with that subscription. Pretty nice night out, day and night for Halloween. If you're going out trick-or-treating, 4 degrees for a high, and around -5 to -6 this evening. Cloudy skies, but no precip in the forecast. Slopticum, more like, instead of Zacticum. A lot of people. Dave the Welder says, blame Todd. He's in our welding shop, and we blame him for everything, even when he's not there. Blame Todd, it's the thing to do. So maybe we'll do that. Zacticum texts in lots of love. Where's the shots at Reader J? No, Zach, you're missing the... Reader J don't sit in that producer's spot back there with the pop cans and the paper. That's the station. When I come in, actually, this is where Reed Wilkins sits.
Pristine.
No issues here.
Yeah.
Nothing left. No papers, chewed up pens or water bottles.
He gives it a quick Clorox wipe down every day.
It's nice. It's courteous. Again, somebody said, I think it's even in the nasty chat. Where is it here? Jason and Leduc, my pop always told me when a professional finishes their job, it looks like they were never there. That's kind of the key to it all.
Yeah.
I don't even keep
That's
anything
also,
here.
I guess, how the devil operates as well, right?
Ooh,
Halloween thing.
Halloween.
Yeah.
We are coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. Treat yourself this Halloween.
I have a very old name-droppy radio story about messiness.
Give it to me.
Do we have time for it?
Sure.
Okay. Way back in the day, in the old stations, we had a fellow coworker down the halls at the 100.3 The Bear, known as, you were just talking about, Lachlan Cross. And old Locker had, let's call it a non-traditional sense of humor, best described as a try-harder, right? Not necessarily funny, no, but he tried really hard. And he decided for some reason one day...
Are you...
Yeah, for some reason one day that he was going to leave me a surprise in my workspace before work.
Yeah.
And so he printed off.
What a big surprise, eh?
He printed off at least 100, if not more, pictures of male genitalia and just plastered them all over the studio. Now,
they were even under the desk. They were in places you wouldn't look.
I personally had never expressed any sort of discomfort with the male form.
Oh, you're an adult. You're fine. It's all, we're not.
I had never averted the gaze, been upset by it. I don't know where it came from that he decided this'll get him, but this was the choice that he made. However, he didn't understand that a half hour before I got in, the very lovely,
Yes.
very professional,
Yes.
and timely, one Stacey Brotzel from CTV Morning Live would come up to our studio and pre-record a news update for us to play off the top of the show.
Yeah. Didn't do his research on that one, eh?
And I didn't have a problem with male genitalia everywhere. Miss Brotzel, however, not a big fan. Felt it was a little hostile to be trying to do her job in that type of an environment. And so, Lachlan Cross had to have a station meeting to discuss why he would print off that many male dicks and paper a room with them.
I felt bad for Stacey Brotzel in the moment, but I also found the whole episode delightfully delicious on the part of Lachlan Cross.
It was
a
one of
self
those
dunk.
ones-
He went up to dunk and he hit the rim and bounced right off.
It was one of those ones where you were like, you cagey comedic genius. Because I didn't get the joke.
I don't know what the joke is.
Until the end. Until the end. I thought this was set up punchline, and it's Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He was pulling a Larry David on us the entire time. That genius.
And didn't even know it himself.
Didn't even know it himself.
No, yeah. Wow.
Much like Larry David.
Yeah, I guess, you know what, I didn't think of it that way, but that is the,
That's what it was.
And he was alone there in the building printing those off the night before, and I just...
Yeah.
What a strange man.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, what a fright that was. Yeah. I think there's if you go around and look around the studio, there's still them posted under the desk. Like they were everywhere. You'd open a thing and...
The only thing I ever left up permanently in that studio, and it was forcibly taken down, was all of my safety certificates that Bell Media made me complete.
We didn't have enough walls to house those, did we not, hey?
Every month or two, they would make you do this mandatory online course about either like workplace safety or like proper interaction.
What to do in an earthquake. Yeah.
And I found out that at the end of it, if you got the 8 out of 10 right or whatever, it gave you the option of printing off a certificate to show that you had completed it. And so I, feeling like I had finally accomplished something, printed all those off because I don't have a degree from anywhere, and I put them all over.
They look nice.
All over just to show what I had accomplished. And that was not appreciated either.
Celebrating your success. Yeah. Hey, let's tone it down a notch there at BELL. Somebody texting in pictures of their pumpkins, real nice. We're going to get into that. Hurts right now for James H. Brown injury lawyers. When accidents happen, go to jameshbrown.com. Look, a couple of places to go. We've already discussed the main events going on last night in the World Series. That hurts, I think, for Aaron Judge fans. Aaron Judge specifically.
Are there any?
Yankees
anymore?
Well, anymore.
Are there
yeah. I mean, it's look, we can still wade in that pool. But you did mention, and going around the NHL slate from last night, a couple of Canadian teams in action. The Canucks getting shut out by the Devils, who will be here next week to take on the Oilers when they return. The Devils, El Diablo, Diablo. Classic. We've had a couple Seinfeld references early today. We haven't even. But the Devils shutting out the Canucks 6-0 out in Vancouver, and the Flames somewhat falling back to earth. You mentioned too. It was a bit of a. it was a bit of a, I don't know, what do you call it, a house of mirrors start to the season. I mean, we're talking about their defensive structure, and what did you say? Craig Connery may be looking to add. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yeah, they were, what were they, 4-0 to start the year?
Yeah,
and it was
4
all
straight now.
Like,
yeah.
These surprising Flames.
They've lost 5 of their last 6.
Everyone counted them out, but look at what they're doing now.
Hey, things are falling back together. But it's got to hurt last night for the Canadian clubs out west. Not for you Oilers fans, especially Pacific Division-wise. But yeah, you kind of saw this coming, did you, Will, from the Flames? I mean, it's full credit to Utah and their start to the season. But
right, no, but it was
5 of 6.
It was. I feel like the Flames were on the verge of becoming infected with whatever tonight's opponent for the Oilers, the Nashville Predators, became infected with. Right, where they misinterpreted a series of good games to think that, well, maybe we get to skip the line now on the rebuild, right? Like that it was like, everyone thought we were selling, but maybe in fact we're adding. Maybe what we need to do is go and add a few, because this could be our year. And it, thankfully, that has died down quickly. Like when you look at franchises and you go, it's time. It's time we give up the ghost and we do a proper rebuild, reestablishing of culture, all those types of things. Yeah. And it did very much look like the Flames were committed to that. And then they won 4 games in a row, and it felt like that just flew out the window. Like an 82-game season and 4 games of good play had you going, maybe we're wrong. Maybe this team's way better than we thought, right? And we saw that with the Predators. It was 2 years ago that the Predators, in a fire sale, gave up Matthias Ekholm to the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep.
And if you're an Oilers fan, you have been thankful ever since, because he is a difference maker.
You framed that receipt on your
very competitive squad. And then they outplayed expectations last year and made the playoffs and looked good in those playoffs. And their management just like they took that rebuild plan, tore it up into 20 pieces, threw it out, and doubled down on their old goaltender. Got rid of their goaltender of the future,
Steven Stamkos,
and then brought in Stamkos and Marchessault on big long-term deals. Yeah. And it has not worked out for the Predators either so far. Like it is,
but it could.
It is 2 underachieving squads so far going head to head tonight.
It could, in a sense, like you understand maybe you have multiple choices to go in this league and how it's set up right nowadays, and you can. Well,
we talk about the Pittsburgh. It has to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, like
you go into a rebuild, you understand
they were going into a rebuild, but they can't claim they're in. When you sell off your goaltender of the future for parts, you're not in a rebuild. No. And when you sign 30-plus-year-old hockey players to 8 or 7-year contracts, you're also, as the Flames are learning with Jonathan Huberdeau, you're locked in. Like,
but it's you can do the Pittsburgh Steeler model of never going too low and trying to play the room and bring in guys with experience and not go too far off, fall off the map, and you get into the playoffs, anything can happen, and you see. But you're right, you can't get a fan base on board to buy in to say, hey, we're going to suck for a while. That's okay, but look at down the road and the city on the hill type of thing. This is you have to do this if you're going to go and sell off all your for parts and long-term deals to vets. It has to kind of click. You can't drop out now.
Yeah. No, it has to work. I don't know if it's going to. Like Nashville has looked really underwhelming. Like that was such a frugal club for so many years under Poyle, and it's almost like they lost that identity somewhat by paying big money for their stars. Like sometimes you can feel like the team that, like, you can be the Rodney Dangerfields, right? No one respects us. Yeah. And it's a good way to motivate and,
absolutely.
And unify.
I like that.
And
angle.
Unify a room.
Yeah.
And I can't get no respect once that, like, they seem to be a hockey club in search of an identity these days.
You mentioned earlier on the show, too, and maybe we'll get into this exercise. We are still in thathurtsforjameshbrown.com. And Trev, feel free to chime in if you must and if you will and if you want. And the people in the nasty chat in the Paris Jewelers inbox today, 780-218-9999. Your biggest underachiever and your biggest overachiever thus far. I know it's early days in the a lot of things to kind of, even out and, as you say, regress to the mean. But right now, I guess, again, who is your overachiever? Who are you looking at that stands? Because you said, there are a lot of teams out there that maybe it's a bit of a mirage right now.
Yeah.
And again, in this market and the one we just talked about in Nashville, grossly underachieving for the hype and the attention that was given to them during the offseason. So is that your simple answer in terms of underachievers, but for overachievers?
The overachievers to me, and number one with a bullet, it's the Los Angeles Kings. I think if you're an Oilers fan watching that first-round playoff series, the way that those Kings skated off the ice, they looked like a broken team. They looked like a team that understood that they were broken and that this wasn't going to work.
Drew Doughty got broken preseason, and you're kind of thinking, and that adds on to it all.
Right? They looked old. They looked like they had a system that wasn't going to work, and then they spent an offseason kind of doubling down on it. It had, I think, a lot of people, or at least me, kind of looking at them going, this isn't going to work. But they're 6-3-2. They manhandled the Vegas last night. This is a really surprise. I thought for sure they would just be a middling sort of.
3-0 at home now.
They'd have their moments, but that this would be a team that, because the Oilers had figured them out, everyone else would as well. But so far, we haven't seen that.
And your underachievers sticking with Edmonton, Nashville. Anybody else you want to add into that basket, I guess?
To me, it's the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
More so than the Oilers.
But is it surprising, too, with the goaltending that they have and that we saw early on? I mean, maybe not so much of a...
To see the Oilers be inconsistent at the start of a season is the most consistent thing that the Oilers do.
Yeah. Evan Bouchard, to get it specific.
They have been a second-half hockey team for 5 years now, right? Like, them starting slow, making you wonder if the playoffs were even a possibility, and then by February, you going, man, if they hadn't blown those earlier games, this would be the best team in the Western Conference right now.
Yeah.
And we've seen it so many times that you shouldn't be surprised that you're seeing it again. Colorado surprises me. I thought they were a far more consistent hockey club than we've seen early to start the season.
A lot of people, well, a couple of people, Winnipeg Jets will be swept first round. D. White says biggest overachiever Winnipeg. Are you subscribing to any of that? I mean, you could maybe find
First of all, do not couple playoffs with regular season.
Right, and that's what we're talking about right now through 10, 11, 9 games.
Right,
that's where
there are
the exercise.
Perennial playoff underachievers. It happens all the time, and Winnipeg Jets would be at the top of my list, and I would not have any sort of confidence in them come playoff time because they have disappointed on so many occasions. But they've also achieved during the regular season. It is not a surprise that they look like a very good hockey club.
Well-rounded.
They are a very good hockey club when it comes to the regular season.
Which is what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Right? This isn't a playoff exercise here. So,
have they won one or two more games than maybe betting odds would say they would have at this point? Sure. But that's not an overachievement for a well put together hockey
plus 22 goal differential. It dwarfs at least by half. Plus 12 the Stars, who are
last year
4 points back.
Christmas, they were the number one team in the NHL. Once again, them being good to start a year is not a surprise. That's what they've done.
They are at least doubling up. Well, plus 16 for the Golden Knights, but that's the closest to them in terms of goal differential around the league. YouTube Trev, any other wild cards you'd like to add to this list in terms of either overachievers or underachievers, or is it just as simple as maybe the handful of teams we've rifled off here?
Yeah, one team maybe that you guys haven't touched on that I'd like to touch on is maybe the Capitals. Like, they made the playoffs last year with it was a historically bad negative goal differential. Like, they shouldn't have made the playoffs last year. And as you saw, they were out. Was it a sweep, or maybe they won one game against the Rangers? But they did make some acquisitions in the offseason. They got PLD, Pierre-Luc Dubois. I didn't think he was going to move the needle that much, but I mean, right now they're third in the Metro. They're 6-2-0. I'm a little bit surprised by that, not going to lie, just because I didn't think that the players that they added were going to move the needle as much. Andrew Mangiapane as well. He had like a 30-goal season 3 years ago, I believe, and last year, the last 2 seasons, he was kind of he fell off. But so the additions that they made, I really didn't think they were going to just perform as good as they are right now. So maybe that's one team that I think is overachieving. They might come down a little bit, but time will tell. And then just with the Colorado side of things, I think Zach brought up a good point. Like, they are like very injured right now. Miles Wood, Ross Colton, Lehkonen as well, and Jonathan Drouin. I think 6 guys in their top 9 are injured. So that's obviously going to...
No, but that's also a hockey club that's been injured for 5 seasons now.
Yeah, like
right?
they've been, this has been something. Like, this isn't new to them.
Yeah, if there's any hockey club that knows how to deal with injuries to significant players, it's Colorado.
That's true.
And it's also a head, like, they don't have this is a head coach who's been there for a long time. Like, they have been consistent, so it's surprising to see them struggle.
It's funny you bring up the Capitals. Troll says in the Paris Jewelers inbox, amazing what getting rid of PLD can do for a team. But on this note, and on this theme,
he's kind of doing.
So maybe he has found his landing spot here.
It looks like a trade, the rare trade that has benefited both clubs.
Sides.
Exactly. And I'll say, too, the Hurricanes, perhaps, a lot of people were talking about how they operated in the offseason, and they've been regular season darlings the past bit. 1-1 at home thus far, 5-1 away from home for the Hurricanes. I know a lot of people expecting them to fall back to earth during the offseason. Right now, 6-2, much like the Capitals, as you mentioned, Trev. That's your overachiever. You got an
underachiever, maybe the Boston Bruins. Obviously, they've been a very competitive team for the whole upbringing, but right now 4-5-1. They brought in Elias Lindholm, who at times when he plays, he needs really good players to showcase. He's kind of like a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins kind of player. He's not so much a driver, but a complementary player. They're not doing good at all, so I'm kind of surprised by their start, just because they've got such a good core, and Brad Marchand, you've seen it over the past few years. Like, they really are just a good team in general. So, but that isn't the case this season. They are not doing so good. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on them as well.
They did get they've gotten old year in, year out.
Each year they keep on.
If anything, they're probably the team that has consistently overachieved the last several seasons.
That's true.
And this just might be reality finally catching up to them.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point.
It also doesn't help when your management absolutely poisons your room in the preseason. Like, that can't be helpful.
Seabass,
Yeah, like, that can't be helpful to have management step up to a microphone and slander one of your teammates, right? Like, you are not because the whole room's going to have his back, but that it's going to split a room.
Yeah.
Right? You are going to have the pro. It splits it into pro versus anti-management.
There's sides now. Yeah.
Right? So all of a sudden, that cohesiveness of a group is affected because management stepped in and vilified one of them. Like, it is never good, even if you feel like you're on solid ground in your criticisms.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
no.
You just don't invite that into the room.
Better left unsaid.
Don't give them another reason to be upset with each other, right? Like, they'll find enough reasons throughout a season to be annoyed with their coworkers. You don't need to add fuel to the fire early. So, yeah, it's interesting. The Boston Bruins, are they underachieving, or are they finally achieving what we have been predicting for a couple of years now?
Jeffy chimes into the Paris Jewelers inbox. Family owned and operated, 22 stores, 4 provinces across this nation. Check them out, www.parisjewelers.com. With regards to the Kings, this is what the Kings do: start hot and fade hard in the back half. It was a strange start for them. They had an extended road trip to begin the season. They just returned home, still undefeated, albeit a small sample size at home. But again, we're just talking about right now. And yes,
listen, same
with the Jets.
I think he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of how the Kings go.
Yeah.
I just kind of, at the end of that first round playoff series last year, I just thought that the Kings had finally broken.
And with Doughty again in the preseason, that adds to it all.
I kind of thought, like, they had tried whatever it was they were trying. Like, the league's going offensive, we're going to go defensive. And I am surprised at that it's still working, I guess. I thought that their back had been broken.
And that hurts. Once again, we're getting into overachievers, underachievers thus far in the NHL. That hurts, brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, jameshbrown.com. Wanted to get to this text, too, going back to the World Series. Surveyor Brett chimes in, Judge effed up, but if Cole covers first base like they do hundreds of times from the first day of spring training, they get out that inning with 0 runs. Again, just going back to the World Series, and I think it's fitting for the segment of That Hurts. It has got to hurt as a Yankees fan. Again, as we mentioned, the quiet bats from Judge finally, and co, but ignite 5-0 at home. You could see it. You could see the worm turning.
Yeah.
To lose it, you almost want to get pumped in that Game 5, in a sense. Without question, you can leave in the 5th inning, 6th inning, say, well, they never had it. It was never in question, whatever. We'll dust ourselves off, get ready for Grapefruit League season, and let it be. But to be 5-0 up at home, Yankee Stadium, it's going to take a while. You're going to have to open up all the windows in there to get that stank out.
Yeah, and also, we're also making the mistake that we always, as sports fans, always make in these situations, in that we're accentuating the negative, that E3 for the New York Yankees line, and we are disregarding the heart that those Dodgers showed, right? Down 5-0. They find just a crack in the armor of the New York Yankees, and they continually put pressure on. So I think a lot of praise does need to go the Dodgers' way.
Sure.
In that even with 2 out in that 5th inning, they found ways to generate runs and not let up on those Yankees. So, yes, the Yankees somewhat
pissed it away.
Yeah, killed themselves. But let's not lose sight of the fact that those Dodgers, as soon as the opportunity presented itself,
blood in the water,
jumped on. Because you're right, they could have down 5-0. It's the 5th inning. They know they're going.
You're
home
going
for
home.
two.
Yeah,
for
win
2
it there.
games.
Yeah,
you. It's hard to criticize them if they kind of had decided, it's not our night, but they didn't. They understood that you take any opportunity you can to win a World Series. You don't wait for the right one to come around. You take the one that is presented to you, and that's what they did.
Morning, Eric and Will. I've been listening on and off a week. I haven't heard any discussion on Dusty 1% away from getting relegated. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you as well, Brandon from Windsor. We didn't get to the EST draft of Scary Things yesterday. I meant to, and after the show, I looked in the mirror and I slapped myself. I said, stupid, you didn't get to the draft. Yeah. It finished in a tie.
Yeah, I actually...
A dead tie.
I had to rush in to the room and grab his hands because he wouldn't stop.
I wouldn't stop hitting myself.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
The EST draft of Scary Things, which happened on Monday, to which YouTube Trev was thrown into. No. Brandon from Windsor's got it all wrong. Tom was in the relegation zone for a good part during that afternoon of voting. But the whole voting, and I'm going to bring up the results here somewhere. What is it, 29th? I got to find the results.
Oh, they exist.
They haven't been scrubbed. I will be finding if you will. Here we are. Who did it best? So myself, Team 1, and J Milne, Glue Guy, Team 3, both finishing in a dead tie, 32.6% of the popular vote. YouTube Trev, congratulations to you, 23.4. A great showing to be thrown into the deep end on your first EST draft via Dustin Nielson, the proxy, him slandering you through the chat during it.
You're supposed to be helping me, motivating me.
Getting in your head.
He's under the weather.
He's not thinking properly.
He's not, that's brain fog.
It's that mind virus I've been hearing so much about.
I think he'd be
Settle
okay.
down, Elon.
I feel like in drafts prior, I've seen Dusty's percentage be below 20%.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, you're not
for
wrong
him
there.
to crap on me like that.
But it was Tom Gazzola in the 4 spot. Tom Gazzola had Team 4, who was clipping away at 8% that afternoon. It was thanks to Matthew Iwanek juicing him up and telling everybody to vote for Team 4 that Tom did finish 11.4%, just narrowly avoiding relegation. So I think Matty is talking about he wants to create an EST draft pyramid, much like the soccer world, promotion, relegation.
Yeah.
We're going to have like an AHL of drafts going on, and then if you win that, you get up to the big leagues. If you lose, you go back down to the smaller league. Something like that is still to come. I look forward to him.
I'll show up for the in-season cup.
Corelling.
That's just it.
You love that in-season tournament. Yeah. And look, if not too many people care about it, only you do.
Yeah.
You stand to gain the most, right? You'll be winning it the most. So that hurts. Again, just staying with this segment here, and we will wrap it up shortly. Luke Gazdic on the way. I guess tying hurts. Quinn Phillips is still radio silent. She hasn't really made a decision one way or another.
Yeah.
Matthew Iwanek would be all over this. He'd be making a decision immediately. Full reinstatement. But it's a tie. I guess we're just going to end it in a tie. So maybe it's the first draft ever that ends in a tie. But down to the point percentage.
That feels very English Premiership.
We each get a point.
Yeah.
The 3 goes begging. You know, if you offered me a tie before this draft, I'd take your arm off.
Yeah.
That's what they say. So congratulations, Jason Milne, Glue Guy. Look, I said to you, if you want to go both get a couple of petties one of these days, we can go Dutch. He likes the paraffin wax.
Interesting.
Yeah. I do too. So
Yeah.
learned that about the guy. It doesn't hurt, but that hurts. Finishing a tie. You take the win, but it's a joint win. 780-218-9999. This is the Nielson Show presented by Southford Chevrolet. That does it for hour number 1, and that hurts. James H. Brown, injurylawyers.com as well. Coming up, Luke Gazdic from Sportsnet. He'll be by. We'll be talking about Oilers, Preds, and more from around the NHL. Cool Bet Canada hotline of the day. We've got the wheel for the anytime touchdown score tonight. Jets and Texans. I got beef for Cory the Butcher and Acme Meat, and the Fan Zone all the way in hour number 2. It's YouTube Trev. It's Will Fraser in for Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Happy Halloween. The Nielson Show continues with hour number 2 coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Last night in the majors, the Dodgers wrapped up their second World Series crown in the past 5 seasons, overcoming a 5-run deficit to top the Yankees 7-6, taking the series in 5 games. The Yankees finished with 3 errors on the night. In the NHL, Devils blanked the Canucks 6-0. Warren Foegele notched his 4th of the season as the Kings double up on the Golden Knights 6-3. Flames have lost 5 of 6 following a 5-1 defeat to Utah. Jets back in the win column with a 6-2 win over Detroit. Tampa 5-2 winners over the Avalanche. And for the Oilers, Noah Philp expected to make his NHL debut tonight, while Connor McDavid is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks of action with an ankle injury as the Oilers visit Nashville to battle the Predators. Tom Gazzola has your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows starting at 5 o'clock here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Oilers, Predators, 1 of 7 games around the NHL tonight. In the association, Raptors drop 1 of 4 as they fall on the road in Charlotte, 138-133 to the Hornets. Raptors are back home to host the Lakers tomorrow night, and just 4 games around the NBA this evening. And to finish things off, Week 9 in the NFL kicks off tonight when the Texans visit the Jets. Join Lieutenant Eric at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where the world-famous smoked brisket cheesesteaks on special, as well as your shot at some NFL merch from the Squareboard. This sports update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental and consulting services, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit greenplan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
It's 7:04. You were tuned into the Nielsen Show or the Trevor Lawrence Show. EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming on the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps and as well on YouTube. If you're on YouTube this morning, give us the like. I know we've... did we do the Changing 100 yet? No. Yeah, we got it.
Changing 100?
A little Wallace Shawn for you there. Hey,
That's enough.
Oh,
Look, surprise.
it's you.
Don't sound so happy about it. I did wish, though, that you were Dustin Nielsen under the Will Fraser. Like, what makeup that would be.
We're all Dustin.
We are Dustin Strong. This week, as he is is still suffering. He thought he was back. He is not. The fever returned to him yesterday, so we wish him well.
Guys, have you heard of this COVID thing?
Oh boy, Will Fraser will be in the seat for the remainder of the week. As Luke Gazdic, I think he was in the nasty chat. He said somebody let me in earlier, so maybe he's knocking on the doorway. That's technical lingo. Don't apologize. He's a pro. He's fine.
I had to do the update. My apologies, Luke.
No. It's he gets the score, I think. Luke Gazdic will be joining us here for Pro M Sports. But once again, Will Fraser in the seat today for Dustin Nielsen. We wish him well. And YouTube Trev on the sports updates and manning everything else. I know we had a conch request as well, and now we're number one from Atif. I do believe he's, can I get a conch for my sledge hockey team? We're heading to Dallas, Texas, representing
what
the
he
Oilers.
Sounds like?
Oh, yeah, he's a man of...
insane.
He's representing the Oilers in the NHL Sledge Hockey Challenge.
Nice.
They leave next Wednesday. Well, talk to us then. We'll give you like, hey, I'm going home for Christmas. Can I get... We'll get to that, Atif. I mean, you're not leaving yet. Will I see you tonight at the Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge? I hope so. And I'd like to see you there as well tonight, whoever you are.
He will be wearing a mask, so it could be hard.
He doesn't need one. Trust me. Sorry, Atif. I love you. The Nielson Show, once again, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. It is the final day of October, so the employee pricing, final day for that as well. $15,000 of savings up for grabs on select models. www.southportchev.com. Looks like Luke Gazdic is ready to fly, so we will bring him in here as well. It is for Pro-Am Sports as usual. The Cooks and Boys and the good staff down there at Pro-Am Sports. Check them out today. Luke Gazdic brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Where is it here? Your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. They've just launched a private Corey Perry signing. You can submit your items or select from theirs. Once again, located here in Edmonton, corner of St. Albert Trail, 128th Avenue, or online at proamsports.ca.
Cool. That'd be a great signing.
Absolutely. You know, he's been dropping the mitts. He's you know, he's been showing up this year, the worm, as they affectionately call him. But Luke Gazdic, we welcome him in this morning. Happy Halloween, Luke. Do you celebrate in your household? Decorations, how many pumpkins have you carved? And do you take part either going out trick-or-treating or providing the candy for trick-or-treaters later on this evening?
I mean, lifetime, yeah. I'm a big Halloween guy, but unfortunately, I'll be covering the oil tonight. So Halloween for me is Oilers, Predators, intermissions, which I don't mind. Yeah. I'll in the studio, I love watching hockey. But yeah, we went to the pumpkin patch. We did all that. Carved a couple. The front yard looks great. Couple skeletons in the tree. It looks great out there.
No Grinch here. I love it. Well, good. We'll be seeing you on the broadcast tonight, bringing a few candy. Are you guys encouraged to? I know some, sports companies, they encourage employees during the season dressing up. I know the CFL and TSN was doing a lot of that over the weekend. Are you guys? I mean, if it's a surprise, it's a surprise. I get it, but any sort of costumery involved tonight?
Yeah, so we have the Hockey Central show at 6:30 Eastern, 4:30 Mountain, and I think we're full get up for that. Our head stylist, Deb, there's prosthetics and everything in the studio right now. So I don't know what exactly it is. I think I have an idea, but I'm just kind of showing up and putting on whatever they give me. So I think we're like a three-person costume. I'm just going to keep it on probably for the Oiler game if it's any good. So you guys might see it.
Well, this is good. I don't want the specifics, but as long as you're doing it. Yeah.
Like, that's a big horse.
Yeah, like all in the same. No, it's like, I think we're all like one character of larger thing.
I see. A themed costume.
What a hook here. I can't wait for this. Will Fraser in for Dustin Nielson, Lieutenant Eric as well, and Luke Gazdic of Sportsnet. Let's dive right into it. Halloween started early for Oilers fans, and that was earlier in the week down in Columbus. Frightful scene, of course. Connor McDavid leaving the ice. Nobody ever likes to see that. Oilers fans and the league as a whole. Oilers and Preds tonight. You mentioned you'll be covering this one. It's an odd question to ask, but we've been trying to take the silver lining out of the situation. Of course, he'll be on the shelf 2 to 3 weeks now, missing a handful of games. Who or what, Luke, do you think can or will benefit most from the captain's absence from this team?
Who or what will benefit most? Vasily Podkolzin will benefit. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will benefit. Noah Philp will benefit. Drake Caggiula will benefit. The first unit power play will benefit. I think there are I'm like a big silver lining guy. This was my role as a teammate and, as someone who was constantly trying to keep the environment positive. First and foremost, 2 to 3 weeks is best case you could ask for. Stay away from the knee, nothing major, no ligaments. I've had high ankles before. They suck. They're annoying. They hurt like hell, but it could be worse. On the other hand, I always love seeing which guys step up. Like there's 22 to 25 minutes of ice time that a number of guys are going to get elevated minutes and elevated roles. And, Leon's one of them, but I just consider him to be the leader and the driver. I think it's a really cool story with Noah Philp getting to play tonight. pretty cool to see how things worked out for him. And I always just like to see it's pretty much 4 balanced lines here. Like you heard Knobs yesterday after practice, he said there's more rhythm and flow and room for 3rd and 4th line guys to get going. I think he's just going to roll these guys over, and it's gut check time, baby.
Yeah, the head coach and the way that he puts this lineup together, I would say, is probably the biggest beneficiary of this, is that he does not feel beholden to his captain's opinions or his ice time. He can really put a stamp on how this team is deployed, especially on the road.
100%. And I mean, listen, I know that they don't have the record they want right now, but this is still early enough in the season that you can try things out. Like, this team will be fine. They'll get through this, but this is a good chance for Chris Knobloch to see what he has. Like, try different guys, try different pairs, try to see where some chemistry is going to fit. Try bringing in some new blood into the lineup. And I still think it's early enough for him to be able to take a really good look from top to bottom at what they have.
Luke, let's just revisit Monday night in Columbus. House of Horrors, the McDavid injury aside, but this team also, not finding success over the last little while in Columbus, 6-1 to the Blue Jackets. What did you pull out of that game, if anything, from the Oilers' side, and then kind of what concerned you the most coming out of that one, following a weekend in which, again, shutting out the Penguins Friday, hapless Pen squad, but that win in Detroit kind of seemed too like, coming from behind twice and winning it overtime, Leon's birthday, all that good positive vibage kind of going in the wastebasket on Monday night.
Yeah, you could tell from the jump that they just were not there. I mean, I live here in Toronto. Toronto walked in 2 weeks ago and did the same thing, got shelled 6-1. Yeah. This is a league. I'm just going to say this as a macro thing too, because I think you guys were talking a bit about it before I got on here. Like, this is now a league with so much parity that if you do not bring your best effort every night, you're going to lose the hockey game. Doesn't matter if it's the Columbus Blue Jackets, San Jose Sharks, Chicago Blackhawks, what place they are in the standings. If you don't bring a good effort, you're in for one. Like, you're in for a long one. And listen, I call that effort on Monday. It's not acceptable, but for me, it's understandable. I was on the bench when Connor was 18 and went flying into the boards with 3 Philadelphia Flyers on top of him. I remember the silence on the bench. I remember the silence in the dressing room. I remember the silence in the training room. We came off after the period and it was so quiet. I'm like getting not like chills. I just remember how like bleak it was. And for the most part, like, everyone just loves your guys so much. And those guys love Connor so much that would just take over your psyche, to be honest. As soon as you get off the ice, you're walking back, you're trying to find him, how you do, and how's your, like, how you feeling about this? How's the ankle, whatever it is. It's not easy to continue to play that way, but I will say that I did not like the effort past that. Like, I get it. That's why I say it's understandable, but man, you got to sense the temperament too. And you know that he probably wants to pull that out. So I didn't love it, but I can get where they're coming from.
I have a theory on why the Oilers traditionally start slow and are a very strong second half team. And tell me if I'm even close to maybe the reality of it. My theory is that this is a hockey team that plays at 90% for most of the season, and they face a lot of teams who are healthy at the beginning of the year, who give their 100%, and then due to basically the wear and tear of the regular season, they come down to the Oilers' 90% by the midway point, and the Oilers' 90% is just better than most teams' other 90% as well.
Yeah, I think I would.
I think there's a bit of accuracy in that.
No, I think that there's a bit of truth, and I think there's a little correlation with, listen, I know I bring them up every now and then, but the similarities between the Leafs and the Oil, like on a weekly, I just see very similar trends and trajectories. With the Oil, I see them getting better and better. It's almost like when there's nothing on the line, they have a tough time getting motivated. Right. Like, these games so early in the season, you're right. Like, it's like their max is 90. And then when we're getting through the dog days, when it's supposed to be the hardest part of the schedule, this is when this team starts to ramp and just turn it on because they know it's game time. And then when it hits the playoffs and pressure packed situation, it's like Leon and these guys are like, let's go. Like, it's time, baby. We've been waiting all year for this. So I think it's frustrating to watch, especially with trap games like that in Columbus, where you're like, these points matter so much, especially about winning the division down the line. I think that's huge to be ahead of Vegas, ahead of Vancouver, get home ice. But you cannot be playing down to the level of your opponent. It's just such an easy trap to fall into. But like I said, man, you don't come out. It doesn't matter if it's the Jackets. They're going to beat you.
Luke, let's get to tonight's opposition as well. A Predators team this Oilers team saw just a couple of weeks prior, a 4-2 win down in Nashville. Brett Kulak supplying a pair of goals. We always like to say, this is Leon Draisaitl's town and everything, and maybe the easier answer is seeing him step up tonight against this team that he's found success against traditionally. But what can you tell us about the Predators over the past couple of weeks? 3-2, another one of those teams as well. We were talking overachievers, underachievers earlier, but what have you seen from them in that short window here prior to the Oilers' 4-2 win, and then leading up to tonight's meeting down back in Nashville?
Not the start they wanted. Power play starting to come around, which is probably the most exciting thing for me to, off-season $11 million spent for a pretty stellar cast of characters.
A healthy cast as well.
It started slow for them. So the three big boys, right? Like Stammer has only the one on the offside. Marchessault's starting to come around. Brady Shea, call it the Carolina effect if you want, playing man-to-man D and, transition game, shooting every puck, good Corsi numbers. I don't know if this is something they thought about, but Brady Shea just seems a little heavy out there, a little slow. Like he's trying to figure out this system still. It's stuff like that where if I'm watching video, if I'm Chris Knobloch, I'm every shift. Like I'm showing these guys, this is someone you need to attack. But I loved your conversation before because I think Andrew Brunette got everything and more out of this team last year. Every drop they had, he got out of them. They overachieved. They probably were not a playoff team. They probably didn't get the draft pick they wanted to, and now they think they're closer to contending. So they go out and spend $120 million in the top of the Central Division. It's going to be an interesting year for Nash. Like I think they end up figuring it out at some point, but past those marquee, sexy names, like this isn't an incredibly deep lineup. So I think this is not only a game for the Oilers where they can roll four and dominate, but Leon didn't have a particularly great game last couple weeks ago in Nashville, but he perennially plays very well here. So I would expect a big 1 out of 29 tonight.
Yeah, last year they played a heavy game. Their success was driven off of that forecheck. Are they still that team, or with the addition of the high-end skill, have they maybe softened up a little bit?
No, you got to play that way, especially with Brunette. He wants it one way, and everyone plays the same way. It's a mindset, it's a mentality, and it starts from the top. I know a couple vets in that locker room have a couple ex-teammates, Luke Shen, Ryan O'Reilly. Like from top to bottom, it might be one of the best locker rooms in hockey. And that's the way they want to play. It's just if you have the personnel to do it, and you got to get guys to buy in. You can tell guys to do whatever they want. You can try to, encourage a system and tell guys to play. But if all 12 guys in 6D are not going to buy into what the coach is selling, then it's going to look, like a fire drill out there. So that's kind of what I've seen from Nashville this year is just the inconsistencies, especially on offense.
Luke, just before we let you go, if you wanted to chime in on that exercise, one overachiever, one underachiever that you've seen thus far throughout the young NHL season.
One overachiever. You know what? I heard you guys, and I'll jump right on with it. It's the Washington Capitals. Do I see them as a Stanley Cup threat? No. But my goodness, is Spencer Carberry know what he's doing? And I know the locker room, they have a bit there too. They're just doing things the right way. Like I understand the Ovi thing is there. They're chasing it. Go watch a Caps game. They work their tails off for 60, and they do not give you anything. Underachiever, the perennially sad Buffalo Sabres, just down the road from me here in Toronto. I picked two Eastern Conference teams for you, but I got a soft spot in my heart for the Sabres. Like I'm a huge Bills guy. I'm an hour and a half down the road here from Buff. My dad got drafted to the Sabres back in the 70s. And they're just, it's the same thing. Every time I turn on the TV, I'm like, this is not working. Something is not working here. So I'll give you the Caps and the Sabres there, boys.
Well, Luke, hopefully the Bills can improve as well to 7-2 this weekend at home to the Fish. We'll be anxiously awaiting that. And people kind of guessing maybe it's an Addams Family theme tonight. Somebody calling you Lurch Gazdic as well in the nasty chat. But we'll wait. We like
That's
the surprise.
good, man.
Yeah.
All I'll say is the chat's good, but I'm not Lurch. I'll say that.
We'll scratch that off the card. Can't wait to see what you're cooking up there, Luke. And appreciate your time once again. Enjoy tonight and the remainder of the weekend.
Yeah, thank you as always, guys. Have a good day.
Happy Halloween. That's Luke Gazdic for Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned and operated sports memorabilia specialists. You can go see them right now. As mentioned,
it's the only costume I would go as if I was a television personality is Thing.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot to pick from that family,
I'll talk
right?
off camera, and you can just shoot my hand for the entire show.
I like that. Have Pro-Am custom frame that jersey you have in the closet or the
In fact,
photo.
I'm thinking of doing it for this show for the rest of the show. I'll hide under the desk. You can just have my hand up top.
Well, we had gang sign, remember, right? Sitting there yesterday. Jerseys, photos, whatever you've still got in the box, visit Pro-Am today to get them started on your project. Once again, St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, or online at proamsports.ca. That was Luke Gazdic, and we appreciate his time. We look forward to his costumery tonight. It is time for the spooky wheel here. The thing has been possessed over the past couple of weeks. We had Pat Fryermuth of the Steelers who didn't connect on your Monday night.
The Ouija wheel, if you will.
Pat Fryermuth. Yeah, it is a bit of a Ouija wheel. It's all magnets.
Yeah.
As I said, when you got Parker Brothers making something, they're not going to be chalking out possessed board games like out of a factory, right?
Are they, though?
That's not how it works, right?
I don't know.
Well, you're right. Jury's out on that, I guess.
I wouldn't play Jumanji if they sold it, that's for sure.
Great film. Maybe that factors into kind of easy trivia today. Bicentennial, man. Let's spin the wheel right now. Once again, coolbet.com is where you can go for Week 9 in the NFL tonight and the full Week 9 slate as well around the National Football League. Oilers Preds tonight. I'm sure they'll be cooking a little something up there as well for you ESTers. But Coolbet, stay cool, bet responsibly, be with Coolbet. Anytime touchdown score tonight for the Texans and Jets. If we're ready, boys, let's do the old chant here, Trev.
So ready. Spin that
Spin the
wheel.
Look at that construction paper holding true. Oh, yeah. Who do we got? Braylon Allen? Braylon Allen.
There you go.
From the Jets. Jets minus 130 tonight on the money line and 2.5-point favorites as well on your spread. At home to the Houston Texans.
They gotta win sometime.
Well, they need it. They're last in the division. It's. I find it delightfully hilarious that the Bills they already clinched. I think Mike Tanier said 3 games ago or something.
Yeah.
Braylon Allen, your anytime touchdown scorer tonight. Hey, it's always fun to watch. Maybe he can get one early and we can have a no sweater tonight. But coolbet.com is where you can find it. Hop on the Braylon Allen train tonight for your anytime touchdown score. We're coming. Keyword right now. I think it is time.
It's that time.
It's that time. Check out this shirt. I've been waiting. I gave it a good wash, but E-Town, that's one of the brands from the 780. They dropped off a bunch of shirts here. Thank them for that. But the 780 is the sponsor of the EST Flyaway to LA, and we'll be giving you your secret word right now. You can text it into 780-218-9999 and be by your phone. Pick up the phone. If you get the call, and you might be the next qualifier into the draw for a EST Flyaway to LA. Once again, you've got the basketball, you've got the football, and you've got the hockey. It'll be Warriors and Clippers from the Intuit Dome. Rams and into it. You're going to get into it with the Clippers and Warriors. Rams and Cardinals from SoFi, and Edmonton taking on one of LA or Anaheim in the hockey. Once again, presented by the 780. Check them out online. It's the word 7 and the numbers 80. Great little locally owned shop. Once again, they give lots of love to local vendors. And I'm just tracking down the liner here. Locally in-house clothing brand. This is the in-house. A lot of E-Town merch, Edmonton themed. It's a nice shirt. The material. It's got that nice, you know what I'm talking. You can see it almost here. You don't even need to feel it. It's that nice loose. It's not like a tough.
Yeah.
That's soft.
Right.
I don't know what the.
There's
a name for
They
it.
call it
fabric.
like a brushed cotton.
That sounds right.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say that.
Not a hard shirt.
Brushed cotton.
Very loose, and I like it. And a nice big logo on here, E-Town. But 780.com.
Well, you need the room for. Yeah, I mean, you've been working out, so
these pythons need a little space, eh? They got 5 locations: Southgate Mall, Londonderry Mall, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport. Celebrate all things unique to E-Town, working with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code. The key. Oh, interesting word today. You see that on the screen there, Mo?
We ready?
We talked about this individual earlier.
Can I say it?
Trev's got the secret word. He's going to say it now. Once again, text it in to 780-218-9999, and he'll be giving you a call.
Once a Duck, now an Oiler, sometimes scary. Text in Perry.
That was a limerick, a
fantastic.
rhyme?
Yeah.
That was a limerick.
That would be a limerick, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Not a haiku.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perry. As in Corey Perry.
Corey Perry, right?
Okay.
Not Luke Perry.
Yeah. Okay.
You could be forgiven. It's Hollywood, like L.A., like
right.
you'd be thinking Luke Perry.
Oh, yeah. Especially on Halloween.
Perry.
Zombie Luke Perry.
Perry.
Perry, Perry. Do we have any other things we want to add? Word, place of origin?
Yeah. I don't think it's the same as to counter a move in sword fighting.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a
You're
PA.
stretching here.
I think that's a PA.
There's a pen.
P-A, yeah, Perry.
Yeah.
Perry. Text it in 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox is rolling over here. Gotta love it.
It's always crazy to see how fast the
It's
text
great, hey? The
like it.
Rolex is just ticking. Once again, though, you're not done yet. If you've texted in, be by the phone. That's the most important step here, almost. Trev might be giving you a call here shortly. We will get to that. We'll bring somebody on. I got beef for Cory the Butcher and Acme Meats. That's coming up just after 7:30. And the Fan Zone for Fans First. That's on the way at 7:40. Back to Luke Gazdic. You pulling anything from there? I mean, again, he was riding on the Capitals thing for overachievers. And again, kind of agreeing with your assessment of the Nashville Predators in that you have a coach trying to instrument a style of play. You've now built a roster that maybe doesn't lockstep in with that style of play.
Yeah, all for one and one for all has kind of always been the feel of the Nashville Predators, right? That it could be anyone on any given night is going to step up. And I think Luke nailed it when he was like, outside of their stars, this is not the same sort of 4 or 3 line deep Predators squad that we've become accustomed to over the years. So they are now a top heavy team. And so as those stars go, so will go the Predators. And he was bang on when he said that Marcia Show is starting to heat up and they need him to. And also Marcia Show needs to. His former Vegas squad is playing at the that's got to burn a little bit when they say goodbye to you.
Well, and
then they accelerate.
We've seen them be very cerebral with the roster too, and just say, emotions don't exist here. We're going to win, and if we don't,
it's honestly why that Shea Theodore signing. I can't believe, it just must be the best organization to play in. That you don't care how they treat you over the long term. You are willing to sign anything you can to remain a part of it.
Yeah,
there must be some real secret sauce going on in Vegas, because any other franchise out there, they would kind of have that unspoken black mark about them, right? Like other loyal NHLPA members would be like, no. We're not giving any discounts to these guys.
Yeah.
We're not signing long term. They treat their players like garbage, and we won't stand for that. Whereas there must be something going on in Vegas, because it has been big name after big name who has bled for that team, who has been unceremoniously dumped.
Yeah, cutthroat, but an educated management group to which you want to be a part of. You want your people at the top knowing and trusting the fact that they're going to constantly make the right decisions.
Right, but listen, I think every club would like to do. I don't think there's anything unique about what Vegas is doing. They're just getting away with it, and that's
within the framework of they're not
usually
busting any rules,
another
though.
team that did this. For example, the Boston Bruins, because we talked about it, they are underachieving, and I have no doubt that part of that is related to the fact that their management poisoned the well. And this seems like in Vegas, it doesn't matter what management does. There are never any hard feelings that last in that town, right? Like that is not a locker room that holds a grudge against ownership or the general manager, or doesn't matter what coach gets fired, doesn't matter what star player gets conned and then jettisoned and basically gets the goat horns hung on him. It's a next man. It's like, please, sir, can I have another in that town? Like they are They are doing something right that is not about hockey management. It has to be about either lifestyle or something that is making guys go, yeah, I'll eat that bowl of crap because it's worth it. Because it's this, and this.
What's the tax structure down
there? Right. Well, but Nashville has the same tax situation.
I know. We always go back to that and lean on that.
I mean, you could say that like Florida and Vegas being the current, like they've won Stanley Cups currently. That there is, and I know the league is starting to look into this tax advantage that they have, but Vegas is doing something else. That's what I'd like to know. Like from the guys that have played there, like what is it about? Like to me, the charm of Vegas would wear off real quick, right? Like that's a place you want to visit. You don't want to live there, and it seems like guys want to live there. So
and their record right now 7-3-1. They are 7-0 at home, 0-3-1 away from Vegas, and we've been to a couple of games down there. The atmosphere is fantastic. It is hilariously great in terms of you think of the stale NHL generalized around the league, and how we were talking about Columbus the other night and in the kind of doldrum atmosphere there. GCL Diesel pregame show, pre and post tonight with Tom Gazzola as well, gets rolling at 5 o'clock here in Edmonton Sports Talk. Tommy and the crew, Hernan Salas, they'll get you going for tonight's game and break down the game following tonight's action. 6 o'clock puck drop down in Nashville. Let's get to a sports update. YouTube Trev has this right now for Park Mazda. We'll be back. Be by your phone. He'll be giving somebody a call. I Got Beef in the Fan Zone coming up next. It's Lieutenant Eric, it's Will Fraser, and for Dustin Nielsen and YouTube Trev here on the Nielsen Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Last night in the majors, the Dodgers wrapped up their second World Series crown in the past 5 seasons, overcoming a 5-run deficit to top the Yankees 7-6, taking the series in 5 games. The Yankees finished with 3 errors on the night. In the NHL, Devils blanked the Canucks 6-0. Warren Foegele notched his 4th of the season as the Kings double up on the Golden Knights 6-3. Flames have lost 5 of 6, a 5-1 defeat to Utah. Jets back in the win column with a 6-2 win over Detroit. Tampa 5-2 winners over the Avalanche. And for the Oilers, Noah Philp expected to make his NHL debut tonight, while Connor McDavid is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks of action with an ankle injury as the Oilers visit Nashville to battle the Predators. Tom Gazzola has your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game show starting at 5 o'clock here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Oilers Predators, 1 of 7 games around the NHL tonight. In the Association, Raptors drop to 1-4 as they fall on the road in Charlotte, 138-133 to the Hornets. Raptors are back home to host the Lakers tomorrow night, and just 4 games around the NBA this evening. And to finish things off, Week 9 in the NFL kicks off tonight when the Texans visit the Jets. Join Lieutenant Eric at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where the world-famous smoked brisket cheesesteaks on special, as well as a shot at some NFL merch from the Squareboard. The Sports Update is brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki. For Halloween this year, Mitch is handing out cleaning advice for Zach to come.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a figure skater. He wears like a white outfit and he does interpretive ice dances to my life's journey.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Dreisaitl setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight or we can play 'em rough. I'm feeling fine when I walk the line. You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. Well, we're counting on our skill and not on luck. And it's gonna get real when they drop that puck. And we won't be done until we hoist the cup. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysdale setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
.737, it's the Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric Will Fraser in for Dustin Nielson, streaming on the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps and on YouTube. Can't breathe.
It's tough to... That thing is tight. There used to be some foam padding to give you a bit of separation.
No,
that's
not
been...
anymore.
She gone.
Yeah.
I like this mask. It's very durable. This is the second Halloween I've been using it,
Yeah,
and
it's
long may it
upsetting.
continue.
It's
It
upsetting.
is, yeah. I was staring at the wide shot camera. That was
Yeah.
pretty neat.
It's upsetting. It was properly used in the movie that it was made famous by.
I had a gorilla mask, a rubber one, for years. I think just simplicity, just the mask
Less
is
is
fine.
more,
Less
as
is
they
more.
always say.
You don't
Yeah.
need the full cost. Although I've always wanted a full gorilla
Yeah.
suit,
Yeah.
just for
Like
not
I
Halloween.
said, silver spray paint and screaming "Witness me." That's all you need for this evening.
780-218-9999 is the Paris Jewelers inbox. Hey, text of the day today, and I think Red is still holding it right now, but we could get some more people to hop in here. $20 to A&W. It is a game day as well. They got the $5 Mama Burger and Fries combo. Plus, today, Halloween, free kids pack for children under 12. So go check out A&W today. Myriad of savings here. The kids pack, the $5 Mama Burger and Fries combo. And if you win text of the day today, $20 to A&W. Once again, the kids pack featuring a lot of options here. Offer only available at the standalone A&W stores, not via delivery or in the shopping center location. So if you are taking your child out trick-or-treating 12 and under, fuel up at A&W before you head out tonight. Be by your phone. Trevor will be giving somebody a call. If you texted in Perry earlier, that was the key word for our EST flyway to LA, courtesy the 780. We'll be snagging another lucky qualifier here in a matter of minutes. Right now, it's I Got Beef, courtesy Cory the Butcher and Acme Meat. Check him out today. He's always got a great Instagram as well, Cory the Butcher and Acme Meat. He's always chopping up some stuff, very frightful. Loves Halloween. He's got the tattoo. Like, the Halloween speaks to a butcher. That's kind of your...
Sure.
One of the holidays that you probably, he's always getting requests for eyes and organs for the schools and stuff. So I'm sure he'll have something cooked up there in a scary way. But I got beef for Cory the Butcher and Acme Meats. What do you got beef with today, Will? Anything in
we
particular?
were saying before,
Yeah.
the entire province of British Columbia and how
Yes.
they treat their 19-year-olds, or 18-year-olds, I should say.
It sounded like you got beef, though, with Vegas as well in the terms of...
I don't have beef with it, because that's not a town you want to have beef with. They
not
win.
publicly. You don't want to announce it publicly.
Exactly.
But shall we say a racket? Somebody sniffed what you were saying there earlier. Super Mario said, you're asking the one sacred rule of Vegas phrase, what happens there stays there.
Right. And it very much feels like that's the case, right?
Yeah, the Crimmins just kind of Flipping a chip up, leaning against something.
Yeah, like
want to test me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Don Rickles working in the back. Yeah.
It's just they are so cool, cold, and efficient with their player personnel. Like they use you until they don't think they're going to get as much out of you as they need, and
then it's out to the desert.
Then you are gone, right?
Yeah. A lot of places out there.
They basically hand you a shovel, and they're like, "There's a couple of ways we can handle this. Like you can leave and take a cab to the airport, or we can drive you. Like it's your choice. Would you like to get your own cab, or would you like us to drive you?" And I think a lot of these guys are like, I'll get a
take
cab.
my own cab.
I got Uber here on my phone. I'll handle it myself. Thank you very much.
Eat fresh, eat local, eat Acme. Acme Meats, serving Edmonton for over 100 years, 9570 76th Avenue. Trev, we haven't gotten to it yet, but the move continues this week. Every move, I think, comes with its ups and downs.
I hear there's a major up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's an up. You've had some beef as well. I don't know if you want to get into any of it publicly. That's fine. It's but in any beefs, you got the keys yesterday, correct? Are we at the timeline here?
Oh, baby. I got no beef today. This is
no beef.
This is the best thing ever.
He's going vegan.
I got the keys yesterday, and boy, oh boy, I am just through the roof excited. I FaceTimed all my family the second I got the keys, and they were like, doing the inspection. And we're like, there's a dent here or whatever. That's okay. I don't really care. But I got the place, and even my grandma was like, oh my gosh, I can just look at that smile. I haven't seen that smile in a long time. And I was, I was so happy, man. And so, I got to FaceTime the mom, the sister, my grandma, the brother. And I was just showing them the tour. It's nothing too crazy. But when I went this was like early August is when I went for the viewing. So I'm happy and it's even better than I remember because I was kind of getting scared. I was very, I was just like, whatever, I'm tired of looking. Like, I'll take this place. I'm interested, that kind of thing. But I'm so happy with how it turned out. Like it's very spacious, I will say, with having the couch, everything out, right? Just seeing all the room that I have, and then
so much room for your activities.
Leave it empty.
Yeah, so much room for extra activities. It's great. I can't wait. But when I went there in early August, they had this curtain, and it was blocking this. Like it was just a random curtain. I didn't think anything of it, but yesterday, the curtain wasn't there. Obviously, they took it because they moved out, and it was blocking this den area. So I got an extra room.
More room
for extra activities. So no, I guess I got beef with them for doing that, for putting that up. But actually, no, maybe not, because it was a great surprise yesterday. And I was like, well, what's this? Like, what the heck is this?
It's the Imaginarium.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Community reference.
I don't know what I'm going to do there, but you can just hear it in my voice right now. I was going to, maybe I should have said this for fired up. I'm so fired up.
You are fired up.
On my way out, when I was driving back home, I noticed this outdoor rink, which is not even like a block away from my place. So I was even more fired up about that. I was just like, oh my gosh, like there's an ODR right by my place. So that is extra exciting. And then there's also a basketball court as well. So I'll be able to practice my hooping as well, and I won't get benched anymore. So all in all, boys, let's go. I'm making moves.
That left-hand dribble's coming up.
The left, yep.
Yeah, I think I got beef can be a positive thing too. You've got a lot of beef here, and the beef is good. The beef is delicious.
Nothing spoiled.
Yes.
This is delicious beef.
Yeah.
This is. It's almost like you shopped at Acme Meats. You've got a big haul from Acme Meats. Cory the Butcher's hooked you up.
Oh. Yeah, so, no beef for me today. I'm just happy, and I am, as far as the moving goes, it is, it's funny, Zach's birthday was 2 days ago. My birthday is on this weekend, and my dad's actually coming up, and I can't remember, I called him yesterday as well. I was like, man, I'm so excited I get to see you for my birthday. I can't remember the last time. I honestly don't think I've ever actually spent a birthday with my dad. Parents split up when I was 2. So he's going to help me move. He's taking the time out of his day to, come help his boy move. And I get to spend my birthday with my dad, and he's going to help me move in. So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. So get the moving all done, and then it's time to party. Let's go.
Wow. This is...
Sorry. I'm buzzing right now.
Now I'm afraid. Like,
let's go.
There's only down.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that's my beef. My beef is
you've
things
been
are
set
going
up here.
Things are going too well for you, my friend.
Yeah.
That's my beef.
Yep.
The universe is ready to just face plant you at this point.
Yes.
They've They've got you locked and loaded for the tombstone. You're like, you're going to get power bombed here.
Water main break in 3, 2.
Keep your head on a swivel, my friend. Like,
I will.
Like, if there's anyone who's going to get hit by some random guy on an e-scooter, it's you right now. You're going to get absolutely hammered. Like, be careful, my friend.
I will be very careful, but it's awesome. If I do get injured, I can go back to my very spacious basement suite.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited that you're starting up your karate classes again.
I'll be able to
behind the curtain there in the imaginary.
The kids will be showing up in his dojo.
The dojo, yeah.
That's what I could potentially, use that room for, my new dojo.
Do you have a kitchenette down there, stove and all that type of stuff?
I had no idea it had a dishwasher. I found that out yesterday as well. So I'm like, oh, there's a dishwasher. That's a pleasant surprise as well. Got my own fridge, and I got my own freezer as well. Got a nice stove and my microwave as well. And 2 bathrooms. And the one, the master bedroom has an ensuite with not only a bath, like a nice tub, huge tub. You'll see more. I'm going to be posting this on my Twitter. And I've also got a shower right beside it. So it's like I have a nice hot bath, and then, I get a little sweaty. I can go rinse down and have a shower with 2 shower heads. And I get a shower head with my tub as well. And then 2 sinks in it.
That's
his
insanity.
and hers.
That's insane.
That's insanity.
The best part is you have a freezer to store all the meat from Acme Meats that you're going to get. I think that's how you should christen. You fill that sucker up, all the meat from Cory the Butcher.
I was going to loop that in there. Yes, I'll be able to have so much meat, all of Cory's meat in my freezer.
I tell you what, if I'm Dustin Nielson, I got beef with this because this a-hole got me this sick, and now all the universe is doing is rewarding him for the illness that he brought into this building. That's insane.
Once again, Zach patient 0. We need to remember the...
It's important to know.
Right? It was all Zach. Zach with the mess and Zach with the sickness.
You know what? You sound like an Aaron Judge apologist with that.
I will.
Where you're just kind of like, sure, he missed the ball, but
Garrett Cole on
Garrett Cole didn't cover first base. Like, that's what you're doing.
Zach has been referred to as the Garrett Cole of the station once or twice.
Cover first, Zach.
That's what you got beef with as well. Well, hey, I got beef. Cory the Butcher and Acme Meats. Once again, check them out today. Richie Block, 9570 76th Avenue. Tell him EST sent you. He's a good guy. And great on the Insta, if you haven't followed him yet. Very interactive account. 747. Let's get into the Fan Zone, brought to you by Fans First. We have the caller here.
Let's the qualifier.
Let's do this first. We'll get to the Fan Zone in a matter of minutes. But who do we got on the line today, Trev?
Yeah, on the line right now, we've got Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Eric, what's happening?
Not much, man. What about you?
Oh, just sitting here listening to Trevor's highlights of his new home.
Yeah. Are you going to want an invite to the party when that happens?
Well, of course. I mean,
I think it should be a nasty bash almost,
kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounded so interesting that just to help the listeners, I will be giving out his address so everyone else can check it out. So, I'll be putting that online. So just stay tuned.
Dave, you are the husband of Twitter Mary, correct? That's what you were saying there?
And Lieutenant Eric's golf partner at the
we had a hell of a time, and I want to thank you for chaperoning me around the course. Perhaps some baking and some move-in treats for Trev then once he secures the suite.
Yeah, I think that will have to happen. Yes,
absolutely. Dave, congratulations. I don't want to ask who you're going to bring. I would assume it would be Twitter Mary. Have you been to LA before? Checked out any of the sites? The basketball, the football. Have you gone down for a hockey game in the past? Anything such as that?
I have been down to LA, but haven't ventured to any of the venues yet.
Dave, congratulations. You're in the mix. And once again, you can keep on trying to qualify throughout. It's the EST Flyway to LA. Good luck, man. See you tonight. What are your plans for Halloween? Do you celebrate?
Yeah, I get the grandkids. Got to take the grandkids out for Halloween. So
love it.
Unfortunately, will not be there tonight.
No, I hear you, man. Head out to A&W, give them a couple kids packs for free on the house, and safe trick or treating tonight. Dave, say hi to Twitter Mary for us.
Will do. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, guys.
Dave is a saint, and Dave is here, man. And had a great time at the EST Golf Tournament with him and his crew there. Nice. Good to hear from you, Dave, and congratulations on the qualifying. Your next chance, 9 to 11 on the EST Hangout today with Matthew Iwanek and Tom Gazzola. I know it's going to be a day full of talking about Chris Morris, named the new president and CEO of the Elks yesterday, and that's where we're going to go right now with the Fan Zone, brought to you by Fans First. Fans! Fan Zone. By fans, for fans, no fees. Get your Oilers tickets all season long, www.fansfirst.ca. We touched on it in the opening hour, Will, but Chris Morris, again, former... Well, 3-time Grey Cup champion with the Edmonton Eskimos. He has been with the U of A Golden Bears program now for I don't know, the number of years escapes me, but this dates way back to the old station. I mean, this as far as I can kind of remember recent memory with the Golden Bears. But named yesterday president and CEO moving forward of the Edmonton Elks. I've said it before. The Trey Ford stuff, whatever, you need to get your dominoes in a line here. Name the president, they name the GM, they name the coach, then you decide what you want to do with your roster. And you can't just kind of go in reverse and say, well, this is the quarterback, now you have to put people in place above him that like him and want him here. So, and no offense to Trey Ford, we'll see how the quarterback sweepstakes go in the CFL in the offseason, but once again, to rehash and refresh our thoughts, Chris Morris, president and CEO yesterday.
Yeah, listen, if you're an Elks fan, you are hoping that this is reminiscent, and forgive me because the name is escaping me right now, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders went through something similar to this maybe 25 years ago when they established sort of the renaissance of the Roughriders. They had been a pathetic franchise for many
it was
years.
Not hip or cool at all in the market.
And they brought in a former player as well, who was the president, was a known, what was it? The day?
Jim Hobson.
Jim Hobson, thank you.
Who always, if he saw you outside sipping on a Mickey, would join you for a snap.
Right. Like,
bless his heart.
Just a sort of grassroots member of the community who understood what that fan base needed to buy back in. And we've seen the Rough Riders become the class of the CFL ever since. And I think if you're an Elks fan, you were used to so many years Edmonton being the class of the CFL, and you've seen that diminish for the last 20 years. You're hoping that this is our very own beginning of a renaissance in this town.
Yeah, and Jim Hobson would go on and then hire a guy by the name of Roy Shivers, who was really great in player procurement. He would bring in Danny Barrett, which at the time, again, it did that era changed the culture, and you would go to school wearing Rough Rider garb. You would get whatever. After that, it became cool, baby, and it was a thing. And the winning kind of. It didn't lead the way, it didn't follow the way, but it was just in lockstep with it. The team got more successful on the field. Players wanted to come there and play due to the vibe of it all. So yes, I think the comparison to Hobson is quite accurate. Morris, a younger guy in terms of the job in that position. You could argue that he could stay in this role for years and years to come and really build something up here. So I'm with you there. I think it's a name that, again, understandably so, out of a bit of left field in terms of the other names mentioned that have been talked about and maybe even that fans wanted. But yeah, a successful guy on the field, you mentioned, comes with some grit during his playing days as well. I mean, this isn't a pushover on the field. We've seen in this time of U of A, again, maybe the success doesn't translate, but a guy that commands and dictates the leadership from above.
Establishes a culture,
right?
As
you're saying,
and
culture.
So, like the culture that I felt was established in Saskatchewan so many years ago was that they were a football club that consistently felt like they thought Saskatchewan owed them something. Right? They had the telethons. They would look at the empty seats and be disappointed in their fan base for not showing up. And they reestablished their culture and reorientate it basically by saying, no. Saskatchewan doesn't owe us anything. We owe Saskatchewan a better football team, a better football experience, a better game day experience, more commitment to representing this province and its citizens. Yeah. And what you're hoping is that something similar, and I would think this is a very good start, happens here in Edmonton, where it has felt very much like this is a football club that has looked around and thought that Edmonton owed them something. Like, you guys don't give us enough attention. You don't show up. We're going to close. If you don't show up, we're going to close off top bowls. And if you do show up, it doesn't matter. We won't. Like, it has always been about how can we almost con you into giving your money rather than what can we give back? How can we orientate this into we are a service-oriented franchise, right? Like we owe Edmonton everything, and so we're going to give you everything we can. And if you can do that, your fans will show up. Your fans will repay it in kind, but you can't be looking to them like part of the problem is the fans.
And it's not. I've said this has been a sleeping giant. We all know the history of this club. I've been going down to the tailgates religiously over the past couple of seasons. You would not guess that the team was mired in the record they have been, given the fun and the atmosphere down in the tailgates. So there is something here. Sounds like a presser today, 2:00. Matthew Iwanek will be down there broadcasting live from Commonwealth with 4-2 guys and a goalie. And as well, I believe Hernan and Gager will host their show down at Commonwealth today as well, just in and around that presser for the official, making it official, Chris Morris, your president and CEO of the Edmonton Elks moving forward. And I think, too, the timing, you now... the division semifinals this weekend. You've got a couple weeks now to Grey Cup where you can kind of go smooge and take the temperature of certain people who you want to fill out these positions now in terms of football ops, management, coaching, that type of thing. So it's a good thing. I think a lot of people were kind of curious as to why did it take this long. There was maybe but you want to get it right. So now you've got it and you can move on to the next decision, general manager, and let the names and the games begin in that realm. But you didn't want to leave this go too long into off-season Grey Cup. Then you don't want to do anything around Grey Cup. Then it's already the off-season, so you want to get these ducks kind of lined up. As quick as you can.
Not only that, but have patience with me. Try and follow me on this line of thinking. But I always feel way more comfortable when you're dealing with a cornerstone franchise such as the Elks, take your pick in whatever city you want. But Montreal Canadiens, they would be the ultimate sort of comparison. I always feel much more comfortable when the president of that, so the very top person in that, owns a house rather than a condo.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
There is something comforting about knowing that no matter what happens, this guy is sticking around. Mm-hmm. And for far too long, the Elks have had guys who owned condos taking up residence at the very top of the organization. And it's hard to have confidence that they are here for the long term. And I know that's crazy, and Chris Morris can sell his house and buy a condo for all I care.
Well, maybe he prefers the condo life.
Downsize, but there is that sort of idea of stability, of buying in, that is kind of represented by someone whose address existed in this city before they got the job.
Yep, absolutely. No, well said. Have your say as well. Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. You love the appointment? You hate the appointment? Are you somewhere in between? Let us know. We'd love to share your opinion, both in the Paris Jewelers inbox and in the nasty chat as well. Just kind of going online as well and reading the tweets and everything. It's a lot more positive and not even negative. It's just the questioning of such, not saying, oh, this is terrible or whatever. I haven't really seen any opinions reflecting that. But again, going back to his record at the U of A, which again, I don't think is such a... You're not looking at a university coach and his record on the football field in terms of your resume to president and CEO.
No, but you're looking at a resume that says football, and not marketing for a brewery. Right?
And I'll tell you this too. You mentioned the Rough Rider example. Craig Reynolds is now the guy in there, and it's the opposite of what Jim Hobson was. This is a guy, albeit local, but a marketer, lawyer type of thing. Yeah. What's right for the business, what's right, which you do need, but it does fall short with the connect between the fans and the organization. There is now a bit of a schism and a gulf and a gap that continues to widen as time goes on, regardless of the wins or the losses. So
yeah, it's always dangerous anytime someone treats a cultural institution like a product. And football in the CFL is a cultural institution. It is not a product to be sold.
Well said. And it's very refreshing that it still remains that in the current modern day of sport. Yeah. 780-218-9999. As mentioned, that is the Fan Zone for Fans First. www.fansfirst.ca is where you can go. Oilers tickets all season long by fans for fans. No fees. Get your tickets today. 7:59. Yes, we'll get to some kind of easy trivia. That'll be on the way. If you want to play today, you know how we're doing this week. Will's got the questions. I can't wait. Maybe a Halloween themed. Oh, you've already got a little something down there. I see. Hey,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I love this. Will Fraser in for Dustin Nielsen. If you are questioning, he's still sick with the flu, so we wish him well. YouTube Trev as well. He is here. If you want to play, text in Trev. I want to play kind of easy trivia. 780-218-9999. We're sending you to Mr. Mike's if you win. You just need 3 out of 5. So text in Trev. I want to play 780-218-9999. 3 questions to Minnie on the way as well. If you have any questions for Trev in his new place, or again, the guest co-host this week, Will Fraser, send them in. Orange and Blue Breakfast will get you set for Oilers and Preds tonight down in Nashville. ESPN's Greg Wyshynski for a hot lap around the National Hockey League. All ahead of the wrap for William Huff to wrap up the third hour here on the Nielsen Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet.
Last night in the majors, the Dodgers wrapped up their second World Series crown in the past 5 seasons, overcoming a 5-run deficit to top the Yankees 7-6, taking the series in 5 games. The Yankees finished with 3 errors on the night. In the NHL, Devils blank the Canucks 6-0. Warren Foegele notched his 4th of the season as the Kings double up on the Golden Knights 6-3. Flames have lost 5 of 6 following a 5-1 defeat to Utah. Jets back in the win column with a 6-2 win over Detroit. And Tampa 5-2 winners over the Avalanche. And for the Oilers, Noah Philp expected to make his NHL debut tonight, while Connor McDavid is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks of action with an ankle injury as the Oilers visit Nashville to battle the Predators. Tom Gazzola has your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows starting at 5 o'clock here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Oilers and Predators, one of 7 games around the NHL tonight. In the association, Raptors drop to 1-4 as they fall on the road in Charlotte, 138-133 to the Hornets. Raptors are back home to host the Lakers tomorrow night, and just 4 games around the NBA this evening. And to finish things off, Week 9 in the NFL kicks off tonight when the Texans visit the Jets. Join Lieutenant Eric at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where the world-famous smoked brisket cheesesteaks on special, as well as your shot at some NFL merch from the Squareboard. Take your career to the next level with Clayburn Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.clayburnservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Wyshynski and Noodles. Gazdic and Gage. Maybe it's fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Wanna hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away. Beat up the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macaroon, Rapaport, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him being in person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
8:05, it is the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming on the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps and on YouTube. We are inches away from changing 200. Hit the like, pound the sub today. Our pursuit of 10.5K subscribers continues.
Lieutenant Eric, it's me. I had you there. Will Fraser as well. Dustin Nielson dressed up as Will Fraser, as we're going with this morning. I really love that. And YouTube Trev behind the monitors. Once again, I think he's calling somebody right now for kind of easy trivia, which we'll get to in a matter of minutes. It is the Nielson Show presented by Southport Chevrolet. Coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. Start Halloween right. Get some of their wings. Bone in, bone out. Doesn't really matter. All of the classic flavors available at Popeyes. 3 questions to many coming up. As mentioned, the Orange and Blue Breakfast on the way. We'll dive into the Preds and Oilers tonight. Somebody questioning if Leon lights them up or the Oilers fold like a cheap circus tent. It's one or the other, I guess. Greg Wyshynski as well for a trip around the NHL in the wrap for William Huff. Did get some texts I want to share on the appointment of Chris Morris. Of course, the announcement later today, 2 o'clock, I believe, a media available. We'll have Matthew Iwanek live on the scene with 2 guys and a goalie. And Hernan and Gager, EST Afternoons, will be from Commonwealth as well. But Library Pat says, I think the Elks made a really good hire with Chris Morris. I met him a couple of times many years ago now. I think he'll do really well. The Fan Zone, Miranda and YYC. Morning, guys. The Chris Morris announcement is great news. Positive reputation in the sport. And he turned the Bears organization around, as you mentioned, Will, from recruiting to culture to on-field success. It takes time to see success, and next hires will be key, and that is just it. And I noticed somebody, maybe they're just pulling our leg, but Jimmy Onishi, let's see if Chris Morris can make the correct hires to keep Trey happy in QB1. The correct hires, yes. But again, those hires then need to determine whether Trey Ford is QB 1, 2, 3, or somewhere else, right? I mean, that's their job.
Or not on the field, right?
Exactly. Like, that's we're not doing it working backwards here.
It's a new owner. Now he has his president, and now they get to establish what they want their franchise to look like. And so if you're an Elks fan who is hoping that they build upon what you've seen the last couple of years, they may disappoint you. Right?
Sure.
The next couple of years may be a disappointment for you, but that's because hopefully with this hiring, they're signaling we're not thinking about the next 2 years. We're thinking about the next 15.
Yeah.
Right? And we need to establish the culture above all else.
And if it's with Trey Ford or without Trey Ford, that'll be for the new management team and coaching staff to determine. So it's the dawning of a new day, and I think it's very exciting. Again, you can kind of, I know Evan Dahm probably running around Commonwealth opening the windows. You know, it's just I mentioned the smoke coming from as the new announcement. Yeah. This is big, and it's again everybody moving forward. The fans weren't wrestling with this and saying, there was no hesitation to move forward and to get going here. The last couple of years, it feels like it's kind of been stuck and you've been trying to get it out of gear and wrestle with that gear shift.
It's been in neutral and then grinding when you try to put it into gear.
Yes, that's just it. Kind of easy trivia. Let's get going on that. It's for Mr. Mike's right now. We're looking to send somebody to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever. Let the festivities begin. You're invited. It's Fiesta Fusion right now. Celebrate the flavors of their new Mexican and Spanish-inspired features. Patatas Bravas, the Fusion Feast platter, chili lime ribeye, feature drinks, and more, plus $1 right now from every feature entree sold will help nourish a hungry child through a local breakfast program in this community. Join the Fiesta Fusion at your local Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casually. Trev, who do we got?
Today, Jerry's going to give it a go.
Jerry, hello.
Hello, Lieutenant Eric.
Yeah, I like that. You played before, hey? Are you Jerry K?
That's me.
Yeah, nice to hear from you, man. You got the old... Of course, you'll know Jerry from the famous, it is the shot ski, correct? Not the broom ski or anything else. It is a ski, right?
It is a shot ski, absolutely. Yeah.
The shot ski from the Nasty Bash as well that Will Fraser was at this past summer. Yeah. We've sipped off that puppy a couple of times, Jerry. So you know the drill here. You need 3 out of 5. Trev will start the ticker after I read the first question. Are you ready to go?
Let's go.
Which Oiler will be away for the next 2 to 3 weeks?
Connor McDavid.
Who do the Oilers play tonight?
The Preds.
The famous concert hall in Nashville is the Grand Old what?
Opry.
Name a Halloween costume.
Freddy Krueger.
Is candy corn gross?
Yes.
4 out of 5.
How dare you?
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show. That's a paddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Oh, you better believe that's a paddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a paddling.
The first year, we took it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Jerry's off to Mr. Mike's. 4 out of 5. Just missed on the last one there, hey?
Are you going as Matthew Awanek? Is that what you're doing for Halloween?
I can have an opinion. Trev, where did he come out on candy corn? The hotly debated topic of candy corn.
Confessions. Hate to pull a Dustin Nielson, but I've never tried candy corn.
Wow. You got to try it. I'll bring one in for you tomorrow. I got a big old...
It is the communal bowl of mints at a restaurant, right?
Well, it's Cinnamon Hearts at Valentine's.
Yeah.
It's your same old...
I'm pretty sure this is 10% urine at this point.
What does it taste like?
Like too many people...
It tastes like sugar. It's
Yeah.
basically a colored
peaches?
sugar cube.
Yeah, caramelized sugar, but not in a good way.
Well, depends on the mood.
Think caramel flavoring, not actual caramel, and then just add a lot of sugar to it. Like that.
You can't eat too many. This is like yesterday with the mini chocolate bars. I can only go for like 3 or 4 at a time.
Yeah.
But I got a big plate at home. It's sitting there. I walk by it. I go, I'll have a pop of candy corn.
Oh my god.
It's like a breath mint without the, benefit of the breath afterwards.
Without the upside.
But there's no upside. It's just a delicious sugary pick-me-up.
It is.
Trev, I'm going to bring some in for you tomorrow. We'll film it and everything. It'll be great. Yeah,
I would
you'll
really
love it.
like that.
I'll gift you some candy corn. I'll give some, put them in a Ziploc bag for your new place.
Would you do that for me?
I'd love
This
to do
is
that.
actually,
yeah.
you know what?
I'm not going to eat it all.
This is a real sort of generational shift here, right? Like I was a young trick-or-treater and like you made a mental note of the houses that gave you the snack bag of candy corn.
Yeah.
And you were like, never again. That house is off the list. They are a candy corn house. And you've grown up in a world that candy corn no longer exists.
Yeah, I mean, like my friends have...
You're right. It's not a modern thing.
Post candy corn.
Yeah.
Like I remember my one friend dressed up as candy corn for Halloween.
Yeah.
And so like it's still there with
And
my
you're like,
generation, but I've never just, I don't know. It's just never been around. I've never just, like, do you put it in a bowl? Is that how it is? You just grab it? Or is it in a box?
What you do is you have a younger sibling and you con that sibling into... you con that sibling into how great candy corn is, so that they trade you. Their
I get what you mean.
It.
Yeah. But it's an easy con because you can really get fallen into
I'll
the.
give you 2 candy corns for your 1 mojo.
Got any more of that candy corn?
Yeah.
No, it's just sugar.
Candy corn.
Yeah, hey, you're addicted to sugar.
Corn.
Changing 200. Yeah, give
There
us
it is.
the.
Changing 200.
That was the conch for a teeth. I think that he was looking for there. Like I've Twitter pulled this puppy, candy corn. Love it, hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it 66.7. Love it 33.3. Early days.
Yeah, we clearly
haven't got to the West Coast yet.
3 people. 3 people have weighed in. Early days.
Well, but this is indicative of your point here. Maybe I don't know. I'll be in the minority. I don't care about this. Iwanek doesn't like candy corn. He'll be on your side. No, there's no way he'll like it.
If he finds out everyone else hates it, he'll like it.
The guy doesn't even snack.
No,
he's up now. 8:13. He's probably listening.
Yeah. The ladies have called him a snack, though. That's for sure.
Candy corn is gross, Jen Cool says. Just bite a spoonful of sugar. Yeah, it's like eating a sugar cube, but a lot more fun and festive. And the coating on it is nice, too. It's a little bit of a harder shell, not tough like a Smartie, but you bite into it and it's like pillowy soft. I just love it.
Well, it's interesting. You brought up paraffin wax before. That's exactly it. It is a sugar cube covered in paraffin
Candied
wax.
paraffin wax?
Yeah.
Sure, why not? 780-218-9999. Team candy corn or... none of that in your house. Zacticum.
Or
Jeez, he's just been...
Or do you exist in a post-candy corn world?
Well, this might go on to your theory here. Zacticum has been texting feverishly all morning since we took a run at him for keeping a very untidy producer's desk over there.
Sloppy, some would say.
Slopticum was a name that was... where is it? Can't believe
you'll get it.
He says he can't believe you didn't take a full tour of your basement suite, so he's coming at you hard here again. Then he says, first calling me out, then bashing candy corn. The nerve. So we know where Zacticum kind of lies in the candy corn. And does that surprise you?
Not at all. Not in the workstation he's left behind. That is a candy corn fueled slop fest.
Zach, you're killing us here on the team.
Yeah.
Candy Corn FTW. Does that mean for the win? Dave C780 chimes in. He also, look, the praise for Chris Morris is coming in. He texts in, fire everyone who isn't a Trey Ford fan. As a season ticket holder, I find it exhausting how coaches handle the quarterback with a winning record. It will keep me going. I don't want to go sit there sad in the stands. Again, I think we've been guilty of kind of being a fan of an individual player here on a team who, yes, maybe you can fault the organization for not fully seeing what you have in the guy this season, but it's always dangerous when you kind of fall prey to the cult personality of one particular player who, again, the jury is still out on largely here.
And I won't blame any Elk fan for being frustrated.
Yes.
That this might be a year zero type of thing again for this Elks franchise, but it is a brand new owner. It is a brand new president. And you kind of get to establish, you get to have your run at it.
Yeah.
I think they are making good early decisions. And so because they get to have their run at it, they may disappoint you early. But they may disappoint you early in the decisions that they make, but it is because they are thinking long-term.
As long as that rudder is directed in the...
They are making long-term decisions. And so I guess this has been a franchise that has made decisions that you couldn't figure out. I don't understand their rationale behind the decisions that they've made.
Mm-hmm.
At least from now going forward, their rationale is it was not the right fit for what we are trying to build. And so they're not trying to recreate anything. They are not trying to keep something going. They're not trying to hope to get lucky over the next couple of years. Listen, I think you have every right to be frustrated if they move on from a player that you love.
That you don't know too much about yet, and you should.
But you, on the flip side, you also have to understand that they're going to take their own run at it. They're going to put their own spin on things.
Will Fraser in for Dustin Nielsen today. Dusty's still under the weather. He's listed as day-to-day. Lieutenant Eric, YouTube Trev with you. We're getting to 3 questions too many right now. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he graciously stepped aside from the appointment of Elks president and CEO so that Chris Morris could take the job. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
Man.
He's a city guy.
Yeah.
He likes the city, and he said, you know what? I appreciate the ask, but I don't feel I'm up to the task. How about Chris Morris?
How about Chris?
Yeah, how about Chris? So social media, you're not on social media at all, which is very refreshing.
Yeah.
YouTube Trev, where can people follow you on every platform?
Yeah, you can follow me at YouTube_Trev on Twitter, and you can also give me a follow on Instagram if you'd like, but also feel free to give EST's Twitter.
Bam.
Follow. What was it? Yeg Sports Talk?
At YEG Sports Talk on Twitter.
There we go.
You can follow us, and you'll be up to date on anything and everything. 5,811 followers. Let's keep that going. Also, snippets throughout the day from each and every show. You are up to date with whatever's going on. Just a simple follow at YEG Sports Talk. Question number 1, and it relates to the Elks boys. This isn't really an opinion question, but Trey Ford, is he an Elk to start the season next year? I'm not going to say starter, but is he on this team next year? What do you think? It can just be a simple yes or no. You don't have to go into depths to explain. We obviously don't know who the general manager is going to be or the head coach, but I just do wonder, do you see this team, as you said, Will, starting afresh and really kind of moving on, or based on the fact that there's not going to be a lot of open chairs around the CFL to be a starter, or as some people have suggested, Farhan Lalji, that maybe the interest isn't as hot as we in this market would like to think for a young Trey Ford?
I'll say yes, he'll be here for some of the reasons that you've pointed out. This is also a league that we're hoping that the Elks are no longer going to try and sell a product to its fans. But this is a league that the majority of their teams are trying to do that. And Trey Ford is not a product you can sell. He might make you better, but he's not something that you can have the big press conference and have your fan base going, now everything changes, right?
Some around here seem to think that's
some
the
around
case.
here. But
yeah.
If I'm sitting in a Hamilton,
Sure.
for example.
Yeah.
Am I all of a sudden renewing my season tickets because Trey Ford's coming in? No,
Yeah.
I'm not throwing a tantrum about it.
But it's not the pop
he
that
is, and because he doesn't have a cachet, I think he might still end up being in Edmonton next year.
Trev, what are your thoughts on this based on everything we know and have known up to date?
Yeah,
and don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it's no secret. I've said this before. This is my first year really dialing in and watching the CFL, and it's been so fun. But, I put myself in Trey Ford's shoes, and I know the last game of the season, they showed a stat, and it's stuck with me in the last 3 years. Trey Ford has had the most wins out of any QB, for the last, several years. And it's like, I'd have, I'd like to think that he's going to do this. He's going to have a sit down with, the management and the higher ups and say, like, what's the plan going forward? This is what I've done for your team. I'd like to be the guy here, but enough is enough. Like, I'd be, starting to be a little short and be getting annoyed.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. So I'm probably leaning towards, depending on how that conversation goes, I'd like to think that he might decide to take his talent elsewhere.
Lots of vendor action on this. Penner's Pancake says, I'm leaning towards no. Greg Lockhart with a cheeky answer. I predict that Ford will be playing for an Alberta team next season.
Hey-o.
As we all know, the Stampeders have maybe a quarterback conundrum on their own hands. The Vernon Adams Jr. question looms large as well. Abutsky says...
How many games has he missed due to injury?
Vernon Adams Jr.?
No.
Oh,
Trey Ford.
Trey Ford. Well, he had the rib injury this season, which kept him out for a bit, which was a little annoying for him.
Yeah.
But overall in his career, I'm not sure too much. Maybe a bang up. But again, he didn't have... It's not like he was given time to get injured and, kind of...
Yeah.
So this season, he did have that injury that kept him out for a while. And that hindered the development there.
Yeah.
Somebody else was bringing up Vernon Adams Jr. here. Abutsky says, I am intrigued by his potential. Trey Ford... his staying or going has very little to do with my decision whether or not to renew his season tickets for a 28th season, and that's how it should be, man. It's you might have an opinion and it might make you sour or whatnot, but this is a team game, and he is part of that team. But again, the Vernon Adams Jr. question looms large as well. Would you rather, question 2, have a Trey Ford here next season, or if you bring in Vernon Adams Jr. and that signifies the departure of Trey Ford, would you rather have it that way? The veteran coming, because you mentioned this is the start of something new. Yeah. Do you need to go out next season and bring in a guy, a veteran albeit, who's had injury problems in the past?
I hope that with the new president, that this is a team that finally gets serious about the one thing you should be serious about in the CFL, and it is the tried and true method to success, towards long-term success, and that is stop taking your quarterback more seriously than your offensive line. The most important thing for your football team is your offensive line and the depth of it. It's not just about the top-end talent. It's also about 7 to 9.
It's all one on the line. Right?
Like, it's about the guys that are going to be subbing in as well, because you are going to experience injury. And the teams that are consistently successful are the ones that understand that that's more important than the guy who's calling the plays behind center. Because if you can give protection in this league, in a 3-down league, if you can give protection, you will have success no matter who's calling the shots. So rather than having a quarterback who can run for his life, because that's what he has to do, focus on that offensive line first and foremost.
780-218-9999. Once again, your thoughts. Vernon Adams Jr., somebody else, Trey Ford, where do you want to see this franchise going? Both, next season, and as Will pointed out, you're looking at a very long-term future here and getting the right pieces in place. Question number 3, where's Juan Soto next year?
I think he's back with the Yankees.
Unfinished business?
No, I just think that this is a team that is looking at the Dodgers and looking at the amount of money that the Dodgers spent, and now having a World Series championship. I think that the Yankees will look at the Dodgers as their only true competition, that they need to beat the Dodgers before they worry about beating anybody else. And the only way they can do that is by winning the arms race. And so if they let Soto walk across town to go to the Mets, that'll be deflating to that franchise.
Or the Jays.
Yeah. Can we stop? Can we stop, Jays fan?
I'm up for a Soto Jet hashtag.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. It would be a shorter trip, obviously. Soto bus.
Can we just learn from our past
No,
mistakes?
they won't. They why?
Like
they never. Didn't you hear? It's a big organization.
We have a reservation at the restaurant. It's a sure thing.
That's what I heard anyway.
Yeah.
Which shark will jump off the plane this time, hey?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Orange and Blue breakfast time. We're going to get you set. Oilers and Predators here. GCL Diesel pre- and post-game show tonight with Tommy Gazzola, Herdan Salas, and crew will be coming your way 5 o'clock right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. And you can also join the boys after tonight's game, breaking things down on the GCL Diesel post-game show. Taking a look at your lines as it stands right now. Nugent Hopkins in between Jeff Skinner and Zach Hyman. Draisaitl centering Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Henrique, Janmark, and Brown. And Noah Philp, NHL debut. Drake Kajula as well factoring in, and Corey Perry. The defensive pairings, Ekholm Bouchard, Nurse Dermott, Kulak Emberson, and Stuart Skinner, who again didn't play too bad the other night in Columbus, I didn't think, although it was 6-1. Didn't get a lot of offense in front of him. A couple early goals maybe deflected in. But either one of him or Kelvin Pickard tonight, we'll see where it shakes down on the Oilers starting goaltenders. For the Nashville Predators, pretty clean bill of health and a relatively healthy lineup. Ryan O'Reilly between Jonathan Marchessault and Philip Forsberg. Novak, Stamkos, and Nyquist. Colton Sissons centering Luke Evangelista and Mark Jankowski, and Michael McCarron, Zachary Leroux, and Cole Smith rounding out that fourth line. Roman Josi and Luke Schenn is your top defensive pairing. Jeremy Lauzon and Alexander Carrier, and Brady Shea and Dante Fabro, with UC Saros minding the net tonight, we gather at 8:26 here Mountain Time this morning. Taking a look at the injury report, and that is brought to you by Podium Physiotherapy. Knee pain from that nagging ACL injury, hip or shoulder pain slowing you down, back pain after long days at work. We've got you covered, whether it's a sports injury, post-op recovery, or the wear and tear of everyday life. Our expert team is here to get you back on track. Podium Physiotherapy, NHL caliber treatment for the everyday individual. Book now at podiumphysiotherapy.com. For the Nashville Predators, not a long list of walking wounded, as mentioned. Where is it here? Spencer Stastny and Austin Roast, both on the IR. For the Edmonton Oilers, of course, we all know Connor McDavid, 2 to 3 weeks with that ankle injury. He's expected to miss. Kind of looking at the schedule today, maybe a Leafs game could be the one that he returns. I just taking a stab in the dark here, but the quick math, 2 to 3 weeks for him. Evander Kane, we all know on the LTIR. Carl Berglund and Brady Stonehouse, whom I think Red texted in the opening hour. Still my text of the day today. Dustin Nielson, the Brady Stonehouse of EST. Guy's always on the IR. It doesn't need to be on there, but this injury report is kind of a funny thing. Keys to an Oilers victory tonight. Let's go around the horn. Will Fraser, your key for an Oiler victory this evening.
Offense through defense. This is a team that...
Come at him.
This is a team that figured it out in the playoffs last year on that their offense starts through commitment to a defensive play. And it's the thing that we've seen them abandon the most early in this season is that commitment to consistent defensive play. When you look at that Pittsburgh game, which was their best game of the year.
Against a squad in Pittsburgh that
is
let's be honest.
But that was a game that they thoroughly outplayed Pittsburgh in the first period, and it was still 0-0. And they stayed committed to their system to start the second. And it's the same thing against the Nashville Predators squad. You have to stay committed. You can't let the score or the atmosphere affect your line by line. And I like their lineup, actually.
And a pretty good atmosphere down there as well in Nashville.
Yeah.
Those home games as well. Oilers, of course, 4-2 victors mid-October in that one. YouTube Trev, what do you got for a key tonight for a victory down in Nashville? Smashville.
Key to a victory: score more than the other team. Just joking.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's the skeleton key, hey?
Yeah.
That's your...
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess two things, and Gazdic talked about it earlier today. It's an NHL team that proven their track record against this team. They have had a pretty good record, so don't take them lightly. I don't want them going in thinking that it's going to be a given. Yeah, they've had a good record against this team, but like who cares? You know, that's still a competitive team at the other end of the ice. And then just for me, they're still a little just too passive. They're passing up on too many opportunities. Get the puck on the net, go with the simple play, and I think that's what I'd go for tonight.
Noah Philp as well, making his debut. I mean, this is a team and a roster during the preseason where not a lot was, again, we were all waiting for the preseason to be over, not a lot of change or expectation of people breaking in or taking jobs, but Philp was a shining star, shall we say, given his role and what's expected.
Surprise.
A pleasant surprise, sure.
Yeah.
Any expectations? I mean, if at all. I know a couple of people are really cheering him on and saying and kind of snidely saying, goal, assist, or whatever tonight, but expectations or thoughts, him getting into the lineup tonight.
You just hope to see him hold his own.
Sure.
I think you're crossing your fingers and thinking that this might add a little speed to the lineup in certain situations. He showed that he was pretty good in the faceoff dot in his limited time in the preseason. So I think that's where he'll be judged, because that's what he's replacing, right? He's replacing an absolute veteran in the faceoff dot in Ryan. So he needs to hold his own at the NHL level to continue to earn his spot in the lineup. He doesn't need to score. He just needs to get off the ice and not be a net negative to this hockey team.
6'3", can skate. You mentioned the face-off and the power in the dot there, but maybe a little more physical bite. Ryan Rishaug speaking Monday as well, that he was concerned with the hit count that this team has been constantly putting up, which,
Yeah, like we've been talking, like, why have the Oilers been so consistently successful against the Nashville Predators when it feels like the Predators should be playing the type of hockey that would affect the Oilers, and that the Oilers are not a physical team. Predators are. Predators like to run downhill on you. And I almost wonder if the Predators' strength is exactly what the Oilers need, in that because they are so in your face, they force the Oilers into the game. Like, they don't let the Oilers just sort of drift for 50 minutes. They force them into the game early, and because of that, the Oilers respond. Sometimes you need a face wash for you to wake up. And
I think the last game between these two, Nurse dropped the mitts. Yeah. And we've seen consistently this season, whether it be Stetcher, Nurse, or who am I forgetting here? Corey Perry, the other night in Detroit. I mean, all of these instances have propelled this team. The fights, not the shift-to-shift physicality, but you're right. Maybe this does draw this out of them. Like we saw Nurse drop them in Nashville a few weeks prior.
We talk about Draisaitl and the success that he's had against Nashville. I think Draisaitl thrives on physical pressure. His game, definitely the physicality of Draisaitl, his ability to turn his back on the play, protect the puck, play out of tight spaces, find the late man, all those types of things. I think that might be the secret sauce that Nashville gives to him, in that they are so on top of him. It actually forces him to play more instinctive. And when Draisaitl is just reacting, he is a better hockey player.
That is your Orange and Blue Breakfast. GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows once again tonight with Tom Gazzola right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Coverage gets underway at 5 o'clock. Let's do a sports update for Sit and Sleep. Trevor's got that, everything that happened last night, setting up tonight's slate. It's Lieutenant Eric Will Fraser and for Dustin Nielson here on The Nielson Show, presented by Southport Chevrolet.
Last night in the majors, the Dodgers wrapped up their second World Series crown in the past 5 seasons, overcoming a 5-run deficit to top the Yankees 7-6, taking the series in 5 games. The Yankees finished with 3 errors on the night. In the NHL, Devils blanked the Canucks 6-0. Warren Foegele notched his 4th of the season as the Kings double up on the Golden Knights 6-3. Flames have lost 5 of 6 following a 5-1 defeat to Utah. Jets back in the win column with a 6-2 win over Detroit. Tampa 5-2 winners over the Avalanche. And for the Oilers, Noah Philp expected to make his NHL debut tonight, while Connor McDavid is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks of action with an ankle injury as the Oilers visit Nashville to battle the Predators. Tom Gazzola has your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game show starting at 5 o'clock here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Oilers and Predators, 1 of 7 games around the NHL tonight. Oil Kings 9-game road trip continuing last night in Spokane as they double up on the Chiefs 6-3. Oil Kings are in Seattle tomorrow night to take on the Thunderbirds. In the AJHL, Lloydminster defeating Fort McMurray 6-2 in the lone AJHL matchup last night. 5 games dot the schedule tomorrow. And in the BCHL, the Brooks Bandits improved to 12-1 on the season with a 5-2 win over the Trail Smoke Eaters. Action picks back up tomorrow with 10 games. In the association, Raptors drop to 1-4 as they fall on the road in Charlotte 138-133 to the Hornets. Raptors are back home tomorrow to host the Lakers tomorrow night. And just 4 games around the NBA this evening. And to finish things off, Week 9 in the NFL kicks off tonight when the Texans visit the Jets. Join Lieutenant Eric at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where the world-famous smoked brisket cheesesteaks on special, as well as your shot at some NFL merch from the Squareboard. I'm YouTube Trev, and you're up to date. The wait is over. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payment for 18 months interest-free and be entered to win your purchase up to $5,000 on furniture and home decor. Next to Planet Fitness in South Edmonton Common.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
All right, 8:36, you're listening to The Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, iHeart, TuneIn radio apps, and on YouTube. We've changed 200. I think we could probably change 300 by the end of the show. We are about 70 away. So if you are watching on YouTube, even if you aren't, head on over there, pound the thumbs up button, hit the like, and subscribe today if you haven't already. Pretty nice night for trick-or-treat and Halloween. Once again, want to remind you, A&W, free kids meals today. Free kids meals for children under 12 at any A&W store, standalone store today. You can take your trick-or-treaters there, get them fueled up before a pretty nice night. 2 degrees now, an updated high. Cloudy skies today, but a pretty enjoyable evening. Temperatures just below zero and no precipitation in the forecast. It's Lieutenant Eric. It's Will Fraser. It's actually Dustin Nielson dressed up as Will Fraser, as we found out today. It's a hell of a costume. I don't know where you ordered that from, but it's looking great. Even the voice.
I'm gonna have back problems squeezing into this little thing. Yeah.
YouTube Trev as well, keeping it locked behind the monitors. Let's get into our next guest. He is patiently waiting and really fitting the feel of it all today, celebrating. Don't even need to ask him if he is. It's ESPN's Greg Wyshynski joining us, usually on Wednesdays, but I guess bumping it to a Thursday because he wanted to show off his Halloween costume. Greg, what do we got going on here?
Well, I'm a pineapple. My newborn daughter, it's her first Halloween. She's obsessed with this video where these fruits dancing. It's kind of like the only thing that keeps her from crying at like the doctor's office. And so she's going to be an avocado dressed like a dinosaur. I'm a pineapple. My wife is a blueberry. It's actually like, I was thinking about it, like it's a lot easier when you're like a dad dressing up to match your kid's costume than it is to do like a couple's costume. I feel like there's a lot less pressure. I mean, I could just throw on a giant pineapple pajama set and feel pretty good about life.
A big colored piece of felt.
Like getting elaborate, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have the dance routine nailed down yet, or are you more practice on the way throughout the day?
Well, that's the beauty of it, is she can't walk. So like I don't need to do anything. I don't think there's any pressure. There's no group dance that we're planning. The entire night is going to be us presenting a cute child in a costume, acquiring candy that she can't eat, and then we eat the candy during the Jets game. So like that's
what a racket.
Kind of the plan.
You've clearly entered the part of parenthood that I like to refer to as bad improv troupe. Like everything is yes and it's all terrible ideas at this point, isn't it?
It is, but also I'm also in that part of fatherhood where literally anything I do draws a laugh. I kind of feel like a comedian playing an arena show.
Yeah.
Like if you pay arena prices to see a comedian, like if you pay arena prices to see Bill Burr, he's funny, but you're going to laugh at everything that Bill Burr says because you paid arena prices. And I kind of feel that way now with Iris, is like literally anything I do draws a laugh, and I'm just going to enjoy it until we get to where my elder daughter is, which is a cynical freshman in high school who doesn't laugh at anything.
You're getting lots of praise on our YouTube Nasty Chat. Northside Sandwich says, "Oh man, my kids love those dancing fruit videos." Matt Hyman says, "Wear that crown proudly, Greg." Shane Clausing also chimes in. Is this a Veggie Tale type of thing, or is this something totally different?
No, it's different. It's like it's on YouTube. It's actually a guy in the United Kingdom who needed to find a way to calm his kids down. So he used some very rudimentary computer-generated images to create dancing fruit, and then used a bunch of public domain music to make them dance. And he ended up picking a bunch of bangers. Like, this is music that gets stuck in your head pretty good. She loves it. Like, you could sit her on the couch and she just zombies out, which is great when, daddy has to do a phoner in Manitoba. Give him 5 minutes.
ESPN's Greg Wyshynski with us today. Look, it was. I think, what did you call it? A tomb in Columbus or something like that? We've been kind of having the fright of the Columbus game from Monday night. Not only the result for Oilers fans, but the loss of Connor McDavid now for 2 to 3 weeks. Some tricks there. Fans looking for some treats tonight down in Nashville and Leon Draisaitl's continued ownership, albeit not the last time they met, but of the Preds. He's one of those names that people are expecting to step up in Captain Connor's absence. We threw the question to Luke Gazdic earlier today, and your thoughts, who or what do you think? And we've been trying to bring a positive vibe to this, albeit it's a negative story, but who or what do you think can benefit the most, will benefit the most in these next 2 to 3 weeks here for the Oilers, beginning tonight in Nashville?
There's no benefiting. You lost the best player in the
Fair
world.
enough.
I saw Knobloch try to spin that thing of with big losses comes great opportunity. I'm like, dude, you lost Connor McDavid from your lineup. This is going to suck for about 3 weeks. It's just going to be how it is. However, I do think there's something to be said for the fact that the Oilers are not going to be a team that shoots under 5% at 5-on-5 for much longer. The shooting percentage there's elasticity to it. Whether Connor's in or Connor's out, the puck's going to start going in the net more for the people that simply have had some terrible puck luck early on this season. And that shooting percentage at even strength to me is the reason why the Oilers are in the offensive pickle they're in right now as a team, beyond Connor being the point per game guy that he was. I saw Nashville in Tampa. I was at the Stamkos tribute game on Monday, and you could tell they're kind of starting to figure it out a little bit. Like they're not playing complete games. They have really bad periods, but when they're clicking, you can see echoes of the team that made the playoffs last year, and you can see players like Brady Shea and Marchessault, maybe now Stamkos heats up that this Tampa thing is done, really kind of finding their roles with that team. So it's not been a very good start for Nashville at all, especially based on expectation. But in talking to those players, you can tell that the more reps they get together, the more confident they are together, and the more they look like the resilient bunch they were last year.
Greg, all hockey fans are navel gazers. We really only concern ourselves with our own team. And so in this town yesterday, it was all about the Oilers, and their fans are breathing a sigh of relief. It will only be 2 to 3 weeks. But you have a more global aspect on the game. How much of the NHL and their management is breathing a sigh of relief? What with the Four Nations Cup and everything around the continued criticism of how well or not well they protect their stars?
I like global reach. Like I'm huge in Uzbekistan, or whatever.
Well,
but
you watch more than your local market, which is more than can be said.
It's true. I do. Although I spent some quality time watching my Devils beat up on Vancouver last night. That was soul satisfying. So look, none of us wanted Connor to miss anything long term. So to hear that it was only going to be 2 to 3 weeks was a huge sigh of relief. Not only because of the necessity to have a team that made Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final last year be relevant in the next year. I mean, I think the Oilers really captivated a lot of people's attention around the league, to the point where you're going to tune in to watch Connor and Leon and the rest of the guys if you have the opportunity on your ESPN NHL package. But again, like as you said, as we kind of get closer towards the rosters being named for Four Nations and things like that, you obviously want everybody healthy and ready to go, and the availability of Connor McDavid for that tournament is paramount to the tournament's success. By the way, I'm having a real struggle figuring out what the level of anticipation is for that tournament. Like I know when we get into it and it's USA Canada in Montreal on a Saturday night, like we're all watching it, but the dribs and drabs of information, like I saw a report, Travis Sanheim might make the national team. I'm like, do I care on October 30th that Travis Sanheim is in the mix for the national team? I'm not sure if I do. I kind of want to hit fast forward to the rosters being named, and then we can really, get to getting excited about the actual tournament right now.
The Canadian goaltender spot is one of which that you can kind of go around. And I mean, again, I raised your Sanheim with a Montembeault.
Well, the beautiful thing for you guys right now is that, if it ends up being Binnington, you not only get a goalie, but an enforcer, which I think is an impressive thing to get, like a real twofer, for Team Canada.
We were also going around this morning just discussing a young season already, but an overachiever and an underachiever thus far through the NHL season. Who do you kind of got off the top of your head, Greg?
Oh, I mean, obviously Winnipeg is the biggest overachiever in the league right now. I mean, I think the mistake that I made, in the very least, was one, not realizing that when the foundation for whatever you build is going to be the best goalie in the world, you're going to be pretty confident in what you build. And then the other thing I think I underestimated was I probably gave Rick Bowness a little too much credit for the way that team played over the last couple seasons, and didn't give Scott Arniel enough credit for having been the associate coach. That guy comes in, he dives into the analytics. He figures out what works, what doesn't. He goes under the hood to figure out what happened in the playoffs last year with Colorado, and has really kind of unlocked something offensively on this team where, they're leading around the league lead in goals per game, on top of, having really strong goaltending. It's been an incredible start for them. Underwhelming. God, I think the Islanders are probably my pick, because I did have them as a playoff team, and I figured that Patrick Waugh having, a full run of training camp and putting his stamp on the team, this team would play better than it does. They're playing well from an analytics standpoint offensively, but they can't put the puck in the ocean right now. And I think it's killing them locally here in New York. The heat's getting turned up. There's a lot of talk about, friction between Juan and Lou Lamoriello. It's a horrible start for them. I think the Islanders, especially considering how well other teams in the Metro have gotten out of the gate.
Greg, we'll wrap up here. Eden texts into the Paris Jewelers inbox. Congrats to Wyshynski on the Evil Empire losing last night. Just to wrap, your thoughts on the World Series, and more specifically, last night's Game 5 clincher for the Dodgers.
Well, I told all my Yankees friends, it's hard. The Dodgers are good. I mean, the Mets put up a better fight against them than the Yankees did. But the beautiful thing about last night was, it wasn't just simply they lost the World Series at home. It was that the knife was twisted into their side with the complete ineptitude they showed in melting down with a 5-run lead in that game. Basic single A ball mistakes being made across the field, whether it's Aaron Judge dropping a ball or that debacle and not covering first base, terrible pitching performances. So for me as a Mets fan, there's always a satisfaction in seeing the Yankees lose, but to see them eat crap and lose last night in the manner in which they did made it even so much more satisfying. Like, they went out like a bunch of punks in that game, and to see the Dodgers celebrating all over the hallowed grass of Yankee Stadium was just a joy to watch last night.
Where's your Austin Copabianco now, eh? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I listen. It's going to be wonderful when we can celebrate the arrival of Juan Soto in Flushing, Queens, as a member of the New York Mets, and give him a nice, those showers they give people when you go to prison to make sure that you're completely clean going into prison. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that with Soto, like when he gets to Citi Field, to just get the stank of the Yankees off him.
Greg, quickly too, what can fans expect? What's coming up on ESPN? What you got cooking on the stove there?
I got a good story. So as I mentioned, I went to Stamkos Night on Monday. I did a ton of reporting while I was down in Tampa. I got a story about his legacy with the Lightning and how it's been so difficult for him to basically hit reset on his career, become a different guy, and go to Nashville, where he goes from being franchise icon, captain of the team, surrounded by his best friends, to not knowing anybody and being the guy that all of a sudden has to ask the questions of other people. It was a really interesting story to write, and it's on ESPN.com right now.
Greg Wyshynski of ESPN. Love it. Thank you so much for your time, man, on this Halloween. And you're dressing the part, man. Good luck tonight. I know you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, happy Halloween, everybody. Take care.
Love it. There you go. Greg Wyshynski, team player, great guy in the room, And a hell of a costume.
Yeah.
I mean, the presentation. Greg, I'm a pineapple.
I'm a pineapple.
The excitement out of that tone.
No,
is just,
that is pure dad.
Absolutely, 100%.
It is pure dad what he is putting out.
Yeah. And the whole racket of again
resignation to where your life is.
Taking around the infant child, collecting the candy for himself. Yeah. All he needs is a piece of cheap felt.
And like I said, he is in that part of raising a child where you're just a bad improv show. Yes, and. Yeah, and then you're a blueberry, but a dinosaur who has an avocado.
Yes, and. Yeah.
Yes, and.
No, it's
all right. Yeah.
It's a living.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't tell her no. You're gonna kill her creativity. Okay, all right. I get. So I'm a pineapple. Yes, you're a pineapple, and you're happy about it.
I'm a pineapple.
All right, I'm a happy pineapple.
Hell of a delivery.
Yes, and
my little nephew Fred is a pirate today. Apparently didn't like getting into the garb and the costume, but
that's
no eye patch, no nothing like that. But you got the trousers, you got the striped shirt, And
that is like
it's a lot. Again, you just go for the piece of felt, right? That's kind of the thing.
Dads spend childhood like yes-anding their kids, and moms spend the childhood slowly having their heart broken more and more. Because their kid doesn't like any of their kid is a bad improv partner. They never yes and. It's just any bit you bring up as a mom is completely shut down by your young child, right?
You're speaking from experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like mom is excited. She's found the most adorable pirate costume
so cute.
you can ever see, and she knows that this is just going to be the best picture as well. Like what a Halloween photo it's going to be, and you have spent 3 weeks because you bought that thing 3 weeks ago because you knew you needed to be on top of it. You needed to get it. Well, you paid full price. And you've been dreaming about this day, and then the day comes, and you get the kid out, and you pull out the costume, and they just give you this look like what are you stupid?
Yeah.
Why would you have ever thought I would want to wear that?
We went over there for supper last night. I had this stupid idea. My wife has a clown mask like this. I said, hey, let's wear the masks for young Freddie. He'll get a real kick out of it.
Yeah.
And my wife, God bless her, no kids. She goes, I don't think that's the best idea before bed.
That's some real
and
wisdom.
Damn, did that turn out to be the best
idea. Real wisdom.
We left him in the car.
Yeah.
My wife, she knows what's cooking here. So good luck to everybody tonight. Again, it's Halloween. Whether you have kids, you don't. You're handing out candy, you don't. You'll be going out for supper to a nice, expensive restaurant.
Yeah.
That's how you're celebrating. Whatever you do it safe, do it right, do it fun. Once again, A&W.
And turn your headlights on.
Give us yell it, belt it. A&W is locked and loaded tonight. It is an Oilers game day. Oilers Preds. Tom Gazzola has your GCL Diesel pre- and post-game show coverage. Starts at 5 here on Edmonton Sports Talk. You can get the Mama Burger and Fries combo for $5 today on a game day. Plus, they're offering free kids meals for children under 12. So if you are going out trick-or-treating, head over to an A&W, fuel them up, and hit the streets. That brings us to the wrap for William Hupp. If you want your place to look as good as ours, WilliamHupp.com, in business since 52, so you know they're incredible at what they do. We will get to what we learned in a moment. I want to shell out the text of the day before I forget, and that's going out to Red as he akins Dustin Nielson, who's still off day-to-day with a sickness. The Brady Stonehouse of Edmonton Sports Talk. I love that text. Red, you're going to A&W. What did we learn, though, on the show today, boys? I'm going to lead this off. The poll is live. You can vote on it at Lieutenant_Eric on Twitter. Candy corn. The options are love it, hate it. Are you ready for this? 79.6% say they hate it. Mm-hmm. And 20.4% say they love it. I'll bring some candy corn in for you tomorrow, Trev. You can
perverts.
What do you mean perverts? I don't understand where the sexual overtones and undertones come into.
It doesn't have to be sexual to be perverted.
Perverted? Well, okay, but I mean that's kind of where the mind drifts.
Well, maybe for you. That's that candy corn addled brain of yours.
They are shaped in a... Trev, we'll be bringing in candy corn tomorrow. You can try some on air. I'm really anxious to see how you take to this.
I'm looking forward to trying some candy corn tomorrow.
You like a sweet tooth, though, hey?
No. Not
You're
really.
a salty guy.
I think that's...
and.
I'm a snack guy.
We just talked about the rules of improv. It is yes and.
Yes, and I really like all sweets and cookies in particular.
Will you be going out trick-or-treating tonight, or will you be staying home handing out candy?
I'll be packing, baby.
So
I'll be packing.
Neither which. It's a business day for you.
Yeah, business day. Yeah, just packing. I feel bad. Sorry, kids. Next year.
No, you could next year is you're
my new place.
building it up exactly. What did you learn on the show today, Will,
I
if
learned,
anything?
if you've got a youngin who's always wanted to learn the martial arts, YouTube Trev will be accepting applications for
That is correct. At his
karate dojo in his new abode.
Yeah, lots of belts up for grabs, right?
Yeah.
And multicolored.
I'm actually spending the afternoon just cutting pieces of wood just to stock that place there.
I'll grab them tomorrow.
Cinder
Bring them
blocks.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, the full thing.
Yeah, if you've ever had too many cinder blocks around, feel free. Trev will take whatever you got.
That would be awesome.
We'll be walking on hot coals, maybe even. Hey, I mean, you do the full thing. I don't
right.
care what discipline you're talking about here. I think any type. Trev, you learning? You pulling anything away from today's program?
I learned that Greg Wyshynski is a pineapple. I'm sorry.
He's a good dad.
And with
That's
the
what
same
he
tone.
is.
Well, no, it's a good
He's
father.
a
Yeah,
good
he's
dad.
learning, but he seems to be already above his years in that fatherhood.
Yeah.
An outstanding show today. Once again, lots to discuss. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers for winning the World Series.
That's huge. That is amazing.
Over the New York Yankees last night from Yankee Stadium, to which the Yankees blew a 5-0
what a choke
lead.
job.
What is that what they're calling it now? A choke job?
Yeah.
From the Yankees?
What
Yeah.
an absolute choke job.
You know, it's a shame. And as Greg mentioned, the knife was in twisting. You could have got blown out and just called it an evening.
Yeah.
Called it a night, gone home early, beat the traffic. But it's the hope that kills you, right?
Yeah.
In the end, for Yankees fans.
They let out the rope and then they yanked it back in.
That hurts.
They had a fish on the line. And they let it run.
And it was a big one.
They let it.
puppy.
They went.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
take the drag off. Let that thing
It was
run.
a Jazz Chisholm Marlin, if you will.
Exactly.
Pun intended.
And then they fired up the engines, applied the brake, just yanked that thing out of the ocean.
Your next chance to qualify as well for the EST Flyway to LA. That's coming up 9 to 11 on the Hangout with Tom Gazzola, who's decked out in Trappers gear this morning. Black Trappers, man, you're looking sharp. I get it. You're a ball player.
He should. Yeah. Unfortunately, it says Gazzola on the back. If he had Classic Trapper on there, I'd be so impressed. If you had
It's to let you know who he
If
is.
you had a Todd Sears Edmonton Trappers jersey.
But you're like, is that Tim Salmon? And he turns out, no, it's Gazzola. Like,
well, that's not a Tim Salmon era Trappers jersey.
well, whatever. But you know what I'm talking about.
No,
Like,
I understand, but
spirit of the thing.
I'm saying a Doug Bach.
What do you think of Dusty's costume?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tight suit to get into, but
really squeezed in.
Yeah, that ass, I tell you.
Yeah.
Chris Morris as well, 2:00 today, I do believe, a presser down at Commonwealth. We will be there, Two Guys and a Goalie with Matthew Iwanek, as well as the EST Afternoons with Joaquin Gage and Hernan Salas live today down at Commonwealth. We'll get you locked and loaded for that. I'm sure the boys will be discussing it at length, and gals on the Hangout today. As Jasmine as well is in the building. She loves Halloween. She's kind of spearheading the whole costumery here around the station. You can join me tonight as well. Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge kicking off Week 9. It is the hapless Jets taking on the Houston Texans. We got Braylon Addison on the anytime touchdown score wheel tonight, so hopefully he can provide us a little luck tonight as well down at Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Smoked brisket cheesesteaks on special and an NFL jersey.
That sounds good.
Up for grabs. It is delicious, man. I'm gonna be all up and down that menu tonight. Once again, though, Tom Gazzola has your GCL Diesel pre and post game show tonight, 5:00 here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Will, you will be back tomorrow, Friday again. It was like last Friday I was with you. You are the world. We're calling you Mr. October.
Yeah.
Mr. World Series here.
I screwed up. You guys approached me a couple weeks ago. They're like, "Hey, if we ever just need a fill-in, once
Doesn't
in a while,
happen a lot.
Like, would you be available?" And I was like, "I love you guys. Why would I ever say no? Of course, the answer.
You agreed to
is
do
yes.
it pro bono.
Yeah, I was just kind of
yeah.
like, whatever. Like, pure love. Dustin heard that, and he said, "Perfect. Time for that second honeymoon. We're doing this. I'm faking. I'm gonna whinge. I'm not showing up for a week."
Somebody wants them to put Dustin on LTIR and keep you around for the Christmas season.
Yeah.
You got it in you? Have a great day, everyone. The Hangout's coming up next for YouTube Trev and his salty tooth, sweet tooth. Which we'll get to tomorrow. Can't wait for this, actually, to be honest with you. Dustin Nielson as Will Fraser for Halloween. Costume of the year right here. And Lieutenant Eric, myself. You can join me once again, Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge tonight. Enjoy your night. Oilers, Preds, Week 9 in the NFL. No more baseball, but that's okay. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. Hangout coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk.